One more shot, man. One more time.
How long? How far is it from here to your
You
house?
see how serious?
Yeah. Like,
See how serious their faces are?
Like 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. No
Okay.
traffic.
Yeah, it should be no traffic.
Yeah,
I'm about to die. I still ain't even sleep. I need to go. Whew. Need me some rest tonight.
Speaking of Markieff.
What up? What up? What up? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's good? What's good? How that sound? How that sound? That sound crispy? Straight up?
Y'all can leave this out because we can record like this tomorrow too.
Oh, for Black Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because y'all going to be out here. That's right, because we're going to be in there. What'd you say?
You record tomorrow too?
Yeah, dating and gaming.
Gaming.
Yeah. But we do from like 7:30. Be done like close to 9. But we record in there. I'm going to have a spirit. Yeah.
So people get
There you go.
just showed up.
I like this. I like this look.
Hey, everybody say we sound good. Mic check, mic check. Is it recording? I don't think it is.
And that
Can you
when
push
that
the-
thing is red, oh, you mean from the
Zoom, yeah. Make sure we going. Good. I'll pick that up in a second. Oh. All right. Y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
We're already live. This is the place where sports opinions collide. Dead in Sports. I'm your host, Kenneth B. Inge. Joining me, as usual, to my right, your left, we got Shelton from the Black Korea podcast.
Hey.
To my left, your right, we got Nikki Duce from the No Disrespect podcast.
What's going on?
FIFO 24/7.
2020 for this year.
Oh, that's right. That's
2020,
right.
you forgot.
2020. Yeah, I just asked him about that. Is the mic still on too? Mm-hmm. And on the other end, opposite of FIFO, we got BZ430.
What up, though? What up, though?
Just a quick programming note. B has to leave early, so we're gonna go ahead and get started into the lead story for today because he's the biggest boxing person on the show that I know, one of. So, Brother B, what's your thoughts on the fight from this past Saturday?
Oh, man. I can't remember. I think I was sick. I think the week that I was sick, I was gonna have my predictions for the fight. I don't remember it being recorded on here or me saying that who I thought was gonna win. But going in, I had a feeling that Tyson Fury was gonna win. Just the fact that how crafty he was in the first fight, and I just think he slept up and made some mistakes a little bit. Oh,
My bad.
no, you good. I think the fact that he slipped up and made some mistakes, which caused him to get knocked down in the later rounds, in the last round in the first fight. But points wise, he was winning. This fight, I had him pretty much winning every single round, and he made adjustments. He made adjustments from his first fight going into this fight because if he saw something in the first fight where he was like, oh snap, I should have been pressuring this dude from the get go. So he did that. That's why he said it going in promoting this fight. I'm going to pressure this guy. I'm going to pressure him. People are like, wait, you ain't going to pressure Deontay Wilder. He going to knock you out with that right.
Exactly.
But when you weigh in at 273 and you leaning, you know what I'm saying, leaning and you tussling with dude, wearing them out, wearing them legs out, that's going to take a toll on you, man. And he was putting pressure on Deontay Wilder, and like of course Wilder, he's not an adjustable boxer. He's the one here to quit type of boxer. Man. He wasn't even using his jab. Tyson Fury knew he wasn't going to use that jab. So that's why he pressured him.
He got him on his back foot. So
that's why he pressured him. That's exactly why he pressured him, because he knew that Deontay Wilder is not a jab. Now, if Deontay Wilder was a great jabber, he couldn't be able to pressure him.
So then why do you think that people overwhelmingly thought that Wilder was going to win this fight?
Because of the right hand.
Because of
the right hand.
Yeah, that's
because of the right hand.
It's worked every other time. That's all they know.
His knockout percentage is 95%. So That's why
Yeah.
he thought he had this right hand.
But when I think even you talked about this a few days ago, as far as like that first fight that they had, where Wilder, it was like basically he shouldn't even won that one. Or,
Right.
like, it
No,
shouldn't
he,
even been
no,
a
he,
draw.
he was losing.
Yeah,
Oh,
it should have been a draw.
Right.
Yeah.
Those 2 knockdowns saved him.
Exactly.
It made it a draw.
So then, like going into the next, it reminds me of like remember when the Giants faced the Patriots in the regular season, they lost barely, and then in the Super Bowl, that's when they won. It's just it reminded me of that, and because for me, I was like, man, he gonna knock his ass out. But then as the fight is like coming up, and you see all the the media pieces put together for Fury and all that shit, I'm like, this dude is really he is a boxer, like a technical boxer. And Wilder's just more of like a nigga just throw haymakers. Yeah. So I'm just like
he depends on his right hand so much.
Yeah.
Like he depends on it. He's been depending on it his entire career, which is why the knockout ratio is where.
Did you think something was wrong with him?
With Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, he said something was wrong.
He seemed a little off. He said you saw his excuse about him. I guess what he wore when he was walking in. It was like
that whole.
Yeah, he said that made his legs weak. That's why.
That's what he said.
When niggas quit dressing like the Mountain from Game of Thrones.
Hey, that was
that's his excuse.
But that was the
excuse.
dopest ring outfit I've ever seen.
It
though,
was.
He
said, but he said he was like it was just so heavy, and by the time he took it off, he felt his legs wasn't in the same.
My God.
That's his excuse.
That's a terrible excuse.
No, it is, but.
He seemed a little off to me though. Even
it did. Like when he was starting, I was just like, something ain't right with Deontay Wilder. I like something ain't right.
I don't know if I overheard
and this was the heaviest he's been since he's been fighting at heavyweight. Because normally he weighs in about 215, 210. He was 235. This is the heaviest he's been going into a fight. I
think Fury got in his head though. I really do. I think he was in his head because if you watch those interviews and those presses, he was on him, and it's normally. Just like the fight in real life, normally it's Wilder that's putting pressure on the other fighters. Yeah. That pressure was coming back this time. Yeah. And he didn't deal with pressure well.
Because he knew he wasn't going to make the adjustment.
Right.
Deontay Wilder's not that type of fighter that's going to make adjustments.
So then you think we're going to get another one?
That's the question.
Another fight?
I mean, Deontay Wilder's putting the rematch in his clause, so we'll see. But
I think so.
Fury said he don't want to do it.
He don't have a choice. Yeah, he doesn't have a choice.
If it's in the contract clause, then I mean it's gonna happen.
I thought he said because his contract is like Fury. I'm talking about. I thought he only had 3 more fights, and he said I'm done after that.
No, both of them have a clause to where whoever lost this fight could automatically reissue a rematch
for the third fight.
What he's saying though is he doesn't think Wilder's going to do it. But this is a big money fight. The third one's going to generate so much money.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think there's a bigger fight for either fighter.
Yes, it will.
This is the biggest fight for their career.
Joshua.
Not even Joshua right now.
Yeah.
I mean that was looked at. I saw what's that streaming service Dazen or whatever. They posted a picture of Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Like, could that be a next fight?
That could be after.
It will be.
But they got to fight for a third time.
They have to do.
But the question is though, I want some heavyweights. Usually when you lose a fight, you're not really the same. Certain heavyweights that can kind of make adjustments, but I don't see Deontay Wilder reinventing himself. Like he would have to go. Yeah, he would have to really go back and then reinvent himself, and I don't see him doing that. I see him coming out the same way. This fight as he did the last.
He's an old
fights.
dog at this point. Yeah, he can't learn no new tricks. Yeah, so
But do you think that Wilder should come out even more aggressive? Like to counteract that pressure that Tyson Fury's gonna put on him.
He need to become more.
He's gonna have to though.
Yeah,
he gotta.
I don't think he will.
It's too late.
I'm just saying that's the only way you can beat a guy like that.
Not really. I don't think so. Because to be a boxer, he would have had to have been a boxer already.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's too late for him to try to learn it. The only thing he can do is knock that man out. If he can't knock him out, he can't box. There's no way for him to learn in 6 months to box.
What he's been doing,
he
at least learn something that could.
Ain't nothing.
It's not that easy, bro.
Ain't nothing.
It's not that easy.
So you a professional.
Like I said,
Nick, you always come back to that, bro.
Nick, this been working for him for 95% of the time.
That's like saying.
But the way he got his ass TK'd over.
I'm gonna tell you what that's like. That's like saying Ben Simmons, you need to be a 3-point shooter by the playoffs. That's the equivalent.
Can't do that.
It's not gonna happen. That's like Shaq telling Shaq, if he played today, by the playoffs, you need to be shooting 80% from the free throw line. It's just not gonna happen. Same thing with boxing. You need to become a boxer at this stage of your career. It's too late. Like if he was gonna be a boxer, he would have already. So he's been done. Boxer. He's not done.
It'd be interesting. I mean, we seen heavyweights not be the same no more once they take an L.
And now they have the blueprint to fight him too. Right. So that's the scary part.
Yeah, Tyson.
But not a lot of people can fight like Tyson Fury though.
Not
at
that
size.
And not a lot of people are going to come into the ring with Deontay Wilder and have that mentality. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Have
like that's a whole
Have what mentality?
Tyson Fury's mentality of like, I'm gonna pressure this guy. I'm bigger than him. I'm gonna lean on him.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
they might not be scared of that bully no more.
That's what I was gonna say.
Look at Mike Tyson. When Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas, he wasn't that fear guy no more. Like,
but he still knocked motherfuckers out though.
He can still fight. He ended up getting the heavyweight title again once, but. I mean, it was against a bum, but at the same time, Tyson wasn't Tyson no more.
No. I feel you. That,
you know what I'm saying?
That fear monger that he was before you even got to the ring, I agree.
Yeah.
But when Tyson hit you, then it was like, shit.
I'm not saying like people weren't saying like, oh yeah, your hits ain't hitting no more, but they were. Tyson, you won the fight.
Psychologically.
Yeah,
he had
lost
before he got to the ring.
Before you even touched gloves.
Yeah, I think Tyson Fury is in his head now. Like I said, I think that he's too big, he's too crafty.
Yeah.
And he's just as strong. Well, not just as, but you know what I'm saying? He got power to him.
His record is still, that's what I'm saying. Like, his record is what, 43-1-1?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, this is.
It's chance.
You lost to a superior.
Yes.
Everybody knows he was superior going into it. Damn near. They were just scared to say it because you were a knockout king. Now that's off the table. I would think you would have less pressure on you because now you're trying to just beat the guy. It ain't got nothing to do with the spectacle. Nobody's thinking you're the favorite anymore. You're the underdog now.
Yeah, I just don't think he's gonna reinvent himself.
He's not.
You got to reinvent yourself if you got to really go back to the drawing board after a loss like this. And I don't think Deontay Wilder's gonna do that.
You think Floyd gonna hit him up? Because he sent out a IG post about like. It's cool, champ. You know what I'm saying?
You still a winner in my eyes and stuff like that.
Hey, Floyd, tell him to buy the weed.
Hey, 50 hit him though. 50 hit him across the head though. 50 put out something like a little post about him too.
Yeah, he put out a post where he got his ass knocked out.
Damn.
Well, it's such a shame the brother lost on Black History Month.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, Ken, they should have fought in March.
Yeah, should have fought in March.
Yeah, March 1st.
Should have fought in March, man.
The last week.
Or at least February 29th, or it don't exist.
Right.
After this year.
Leap year.
Going into the last week of the damn Black History Month, he took an L, man.
This
bad.
ain't
I think once he got hit and busted his eardrum,
it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Because he couldn't even get his legs back. Like even between rounds, he could not get his legs back. And when he was throwing that right, he hit him, but it wasn't like. It wasn't flush.
No power.
I was just like, I'm like,
and the way Fury was talking, man, he sounded like, don't he sound like, what's his name, Ivan Drago from Rocky? He was like, I've been through worse than this.
You saw he licked him, he licked his blood and
man,
shit
that
off.
shit was nasty.
That
reminded me of Tyson biting
Holyfield.
Yeah.
Man, I was like,
You don't know what Wilder got.
Right.
He lost and got the coronavirus.
Right, man. I'm like, damn, but yeah.
He said he wanted to taste blood.
Yeah, he kept saying, I wanted to taste
blood.
blood.
He did.
He did it.
But it's interesting to see what Deontay Wilder.
That's where I would agree with you as far as like he got in his head. Once a nigga lick you after he beat your ass, you a changed man after that.
But look, when you play these super aggressive sports, there's a couple screws loose before you know what I'm saying, even get into your big fights and all of that.
Yeah.
And like he showed that, bro. Like, look, when you play football, when you play boxing, when you play again these physical, like man against man type sports, bro, you have to have some screws loose to be great. You just have to. You can't be 100% sane.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson said he wanted to eat the man's children.
Right.
Same.
You got to, bro.
Concept, yeah.
Like you got to be psychologically slightly off. You do.
Yeah. Real quick before I leave, my pops for Black History Month gave me another NBA player to, talk about on here. And this week, this player is Bob Lanier. He was a center for Milwaukee Bucks and Detroit Pistons. Career average 20.1, 10 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks. He entered the Hall of Fame in 1992. He was 51% from the field. Career shot 51% from the field. Dad used to always say he was a very strong center, very underrated strong center that people didn't really talk about back in the 70s and early 80s. So, just wanted to throw that out there. That was another player. He won MVP in 1974, was the 1971 All-Rookie. He was an 8-time All-Star. And
So he won MVP 3 years later after being a rookie.
After
Sound
being
like
a rookie.
D-Rose.
Yep. Yep. And then he, like you said, he played for the Pistons when we were running really much in the 70s. So he just never had no help. But if he was on like other squads, he would have. My dad said he would have definitely probably won some rings if he was on the right team. But he just, he was with us, and we just didn't really do much in the 70s. But he said he was definitely one of the strongest centers that he's seen play in the history of the NBA. So he said, Bob Lanier, that's one.
That's what's up.
We got a highlight.
Appreciate you, man. We needed that after that fight, man.
Yeah. Something uplifting. Yep.
That's why I wanted to say it. Like, him throwing Bob Lanier. So, yeah.
Yep. That and nigga Charlie, so y'all need to go check that out.
Check out frames per second.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, B.
All right, B.
All right, so shit. NBA. Y'all ready to talk about NBA?
We
Yeah,
always
man. Yeah. Hey, B. I think I'm there with you, bro.
The Bucks or the Celtics?
Bucks.
They're the team to beat in the East.
They are.
Maybe. Remember when I brought up when we were talking about football about the Kansas City Chiefs and why we weren't were we overglossing them and not really talking about them much? I feel the same way about these Boston Celtics now, especially after Sunday when they were going against LeBron James. And I know Jayson Tatum has always been a star, but he looked like a superstar in that game.
He's coming back into his own.
He's
but
still
I think
ascending.
Part of the reason why we overlooked the Chiefs was because of Patrick Mahomes getting hurt. So that affected everybody. Lamar Jackson was ascending and became this superstar in the league. So he just suppressed anything Patrick Mahomes was doing, and Patrick Mahomes wasn't really doing shit. I think Jayson Tatum gets up to play LeBron.
Because ever since he dunked on him, he been hyped ever since.
That's a mentor. Like you look at their games, they have similarities. You know what I'm saying? Size. Obviously, I think Jayson Tatum was more of a scorer than a playmaker. But you look at that, man. You could tell that Jayson Tatum learns from LeBron.
But Jayson Tatum did disappear in the fourth quarter. Like, he did most of his damage in the second and third quarter.
Right.
And that really kept them in the game because they were losing by by 11 points.
Yeah, because he couldn't miss from three, it seemed like.
Yeah, he was on fire.
On fire. And Jaylen Brown did his thing, too, until the end.
Look. To Boston's credit, they didn't have Kemba. Right,
Yeah,
and we know that's their fearless
leader. How much of a difference
leader.
do you think Kemba would have made?
Big time difference. That's their fearless leader. Like he's the guy. Even though he hasn't had playoff success, we know he's clutch. We know he plays bigger in big moments. His entire career, high school, college, like we've seen it. Obviously, he just didn't have that opportunity in the NBA just yet. He will this year. But the thing about Boston is this: they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple of years ago when Kyrie was hurt and all of that. But I still don't trust Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum in the playoffs in pressure moments. I trust Kemba.
That's what
I don't trust them. So they haven't been there with pressure, right? Because when they made it, there was no pressure on them. And then what happened in that game against Cleveland? They crumbled. So to me, now they have pressure to win. They have expectations. How do they deal with that? I don't think they deal with it this year.
Who do you
Give
see
them next year.
Who do you see as the leader of the Celtics?
Kemba. To me, it's Kemba.
So do you trust Kemba to lead them to where they need to go?
But you're gonna what do I always say? Little guys need big guys, right? And the best big guys that they have is Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They're not ready. They're not ready.
So the Bucks. Why are you? I know it's easy to say because they clinched the playoff spot already.
It's not even that, man. Just Giannis.
Can't stop him.
Man. This man, he has not only just the physical part of the game, but the crazy numbers that he's putting up. That right there, man, like he wants it, and he is like a demon possessed. And sometimes you can will your teams to victory.
Now, when you say the Bucks, what do you mean? What's the expectation?
Championship.
Yep.
So the whole shebang.
It's championship or bust for them.
Some people say he got exposed in the All-Star game.
Wait, I didn't watch the All-Star game.
Well, what do you mean he got exposed?
Because when literally I think they were up and they were trying to make it like close and they needed a bucket from him and he tried to shoot a 3-pointer but couldn't get it. Basically, the criticism was, I know it's an All-Star game, so it can't take much into account, but when the game was on the line for his team to win, he couldn't get the shot off.
Okay, so so let's put it into context, right? In that All-Star game, typically when he's playing, there's 4 players out and he's the one that dominates the paint, right? In this All-Star game, who's dominating the paint on his team?
Oh, was it Embiid?
Embiid.
And who did they keep going to down the stretch in the paint?
But doesn't that say something about if that's your team and somebody else?
No, because the way
roles.
But the way that the Bucks are constructed is pro Giannis, meaning that even the twin, both of the twins, right? Especially I always get them confused. Who's the one that shoots a 3? Nah, for the Bucks. Robin. Which one shoots a 3?
Brooke Lopez.
Brooke Lopez. Yeah.
He's gonna be out.
He's a 7'1", 7'2" guy, but he's going to be at the three-point line. So who are they going to feature closer to the basket? Giannis. Where Embiid was getting the ball in the All-Star game, that's where Giannis is going to get the ball.
Well, for me, it's just more about can you make the 3-point? Can you make the shots you need to make to win the game?
But you're talking 3-point shot. We know that is his Achilles heel, and he's getting better.
So but I'm saying that situation not gonna come up down and deep in the playoffs?
No, because listen to what I'm saying and stop listening to respond. Because in the Bucks system, he is going to be Embiid that you saw in the All-Star game. He's gonna get the ball closer to the basket. They're not gonna have the ball in his hands
so that's a different shot.
It's a different shot.
My thing is the team is not going to put you in a place to where you're comfortable in to win the game. That's the whole point of the other team.
That's going
to
be up to the coach.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they can move him off.
How? Where did LeBron get the ball to win the game against the Celtics?
Right in the post.
Right there. Yep. What do you mean? You design
elbow down.
As a coaching staff. You design ways to get your player in the best positions to score,
and that always works.
It depends on how good. But it depends on how good your coach is. It depends on how good your coach is.
You trust the coach that much?
You damn right I trust. You damn right I trust Bud.
They will never have to worry about him making.
Look, what I'm saying is that we have 4 critical possessions. I trust Bud to get Giannis in 3 out of those 4 possessions where he needs to get to. I trust Bud like that. You don't. Let's talk.
So then what happened last year?
You trust Bud like that?
What happened last year then?
Huh?
What happened last year?
Last year Giannis wasn't ready. Last year Giannis
was MVP.
Doesn't matter.
MVP
doesn't matter.
Win the title.
And they were 2 up. They were up 2 against
the
matter. Raptors.
Does not matter.
That doesn't matter. But you expect them to be out for some reason.
The same way that I don't trust Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum this year is the same way I didn't trust Giannis last year. Giannis had to go through that. I always talk about getting your ass whooped, especially taking steps and levels up. Last year, he got to the Eastern Conference Finals and fell short. This year, that shouldn't be the case. He has that now.
Who do you see beating them in the East?
The Celtics.
I'll tell you
Toronto.
Maybe, but I doubt it.
People sleeping on Toronto.
No, Toronto's going to be a tough out.
Yeah,
but they
ain't got a star.
Siakam is a star.
He's not a star to take
He's
you over
not
the
a
top.
superstar.
Yeah.
And then again, he hasn't had that level of pressure put on him to be the difference.
Yeah.
He needs to have that ass whooped.
The issue that I see with the Celtics is with their bench. They ain't got shit.
They don't
have shit on that bench. They got 8 points.
I was gonna say the same thing about the Bucks as far as depth.
The Bucks got
after Giannis, who do you really count on
Middleton?
We talked about Middleton. We talk about Middleton,
it.
but we don't trust him. Obviously, Eric Bledsoe, we don't trust him. You're
DiVincenzo.
gonna leave it up to Splash Mountain to be the ones that's gonna be your 3 and D guys. What are we talking about here? The Celtics, at least we have at least 4 solid players we can go to. I trust them in these situations.
Who's the 4th?
You forget Gordon Hayward. You forget as the 4th. If he's the 4th best player on your team, you have a great squad.
I don't know if you watched that game yesterday, but I did. And in the 4th quarter,
he made a shot to.
He made a couple of plays, but he also ran away from the moment too.
Yeah, he's the 4th best player. That's what I'm trying to say.
But mentally, Gordon Hayward's not there anymore. Because mentally, Gordon Hayward's not there anymore. When he was in Utah, Gordon Hayward at his position was a top 5, top 7 player.
Yeah, I agree.
Now he disappears, like Ken said. He doesn't have it. He just doesn't. And those other 3 guys, I trust them, but 2 out of those 3 guys, they're not ready for that pressure moment.
All right, we'll see. The Lakers, since we were talking about the Lakers, they may get the other Morris twin.
They got him.
Okay, they got him. Does that make them better or more the same?
Wait, before you answer that, just as we were talking about, they just tied the game. When I opened up the ESPN ad, I wanted to look at their roster. They were losing 132 to 130 to the Wizards.
Who, the Bucks?
The Bucks. Oh. But they just tied the game. I don't know who scored, but yeah.
So it wasn't Giannis on the 3.
I think that
you so fixated on the 3 though.
Yeah. It's a 3-point league, man. But go ahead, man.
I just think that I don't know if Giannis is there yet, and I say that I think he has every tool necessary, but we got to see him do it in the playoffs. So we just got to see it happen. You know what I'm saying? And until we do, the jury's
for
still
me
out.
last year, I was big on him. I thought they were going to take it far last year, but
and Kawhi took it away.
Took that shit away.
Kawhi
snatched that shit
on one leg.
And go ahead, Ken. What's up? You got to update.
Damn. Yeah, Chris Middleton just hit a 3. So yeah, wow, they going back and forth. So they coming through in the clutch. Damn, he scored the last 5 points. So he scored the game time basket and the go ahead basket.
What did I tell y'all earlier in the season? The difference for that Bucks team.
Middleton.
Chris Middleton is now able to get more of his own shot. He's not a dependent player. And all last postseason, what I kept saying, they can't do nothing else because nobody else outside of Giannis can create their own shot. Chris Middleton was a dependent player. This year, he's shedding that. And again, I think between Giannis's improvement, slight improvement, right? Like the motherfucker he's almost capped out. Like outside of being an efficient 3-point shooter, being a slightly better playmaker, maybe having a go-to move, how much else can Giannis really add to his game?
Exactly.
And then Chris Middleton, you know, like in the playoffs, the game slows down. You need to have multiple guys that can get their own shots. That's what Chris Middleton didn't have last year.
Bradley Beal got 53
again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tonight.
Somebody need to trade for that man in the offseason.
Gotta trade for that man.
Dang. God.
What
yeah,
team?
he went for 50 last night,
Right? He can help any team.
Yeah, it was last night.
He, you know, Bradley.
Like, what's the best team for him?
Any team, any team that can be in the playoffs.
Lakers.
They don't have enough to give up.
He took 33. He taking all the damn shots.
That's what it is too, though. Yeah, he taking all the shots.
Who else gonna take him? So I don't blame him.
That Wizards team just need to start all the way over.
They do.
But what was your? So my
The
bad.
question was about the Lakers getting the Morris brother. Does that make them better or more the same?
Better. How's it more the same? They don't have enough guys in that LeBron size.
Well, I said
It
more
added depth.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that they added, like what Shelton was saying, they added depth, but as far as at this part of the season, and with obviously deep playoff run expectations, I don't know how they will fit him seamlessly into their system.
How are they gonna fit Marcus, Reggie Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about the
all
Clippers?
yeah.
They got
So we can
Well,
say
the Clippers
same.
the Clippers haven't been fully healthy as a team for any of that, right?
But we're talking about fit. How are they gonna fit? You're saying how are they gonna fit Markieff? The Clippers just got a guy too, so how are they going to fit them into their
I'm just saying
system
the biggest difference between the Lakers and the Clippers is the Lakers got a machine running. I mean, they're the number 1 seed in the West. You know what I'm saying? They've already figured out what works for them thus far. So with Markieff, I know what he brings as far as that same thing his brother does, except less efficient.
Yeah.
But again, how much better does that make it?
But
Real
quick, but it sounds to me like it will be more of an issue for the Clippers because, as you just noted, they haven't been fully healthy yet, so they don't know their rotations. Some of the new guys don't know their sets. They don't know what minutes they're going to play.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the Lakers. You want to bring in the Clippers like you
I'm
always
just
do.
because
I'm just
because I'm just trying to keep it fair. Like I think if you could ask that for this team, you have to ask the same thing for the other team who just acquired a lot of new players too.
I think they're all pros, and at that level, especially in basketball, ain't but so many sets they running anyway. So I think they'll figure that out pretty quickly. I just think the Lakers got the weaker of the two twins, so the Clippers won that battle still yet.
Yeah, I do agree.
And I don't think it's about set. I just think it's more about fit, right? And how it's more about the closing lineup and matching another team, right? Because the playoffs are about matchups. And what Markieff allows the Lakers to do is still stay relatively big, but be small. Mm-hmm. When you take Dwight and JaVale out of the lineup, AD's your 5. He could be your 4. LeBron's your 1. And now you can have Caruso and Danny Green. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or you could tweak that. You could put Rondo. It just depends on what the other team is doing, what you need. But what it does, it gives them more flexibility with their lineup. And especially against the Clippers, they're going to need that because the Clippers literally got 3-4 guys they could throw at LeBron. Now they got another guy that they could throw on PG and Kawhi. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a chess thing. That's all it is. And then you're talking about how do you fit? What do you mean? The man shoots threes. The man rebounds. The man's a dog just like his twin. That's seamless.
But I'm just saying based off like whose minutes is he taking up? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But Kuzma's been.
I was just playing.
But I'm just saying, like, I think that was the main one. But I'm like, but Kuzma, like, is still. I feel like he's still getting into his groove. So do you
he needs
cut
to
his
start.
minutes?
Yeah, he needs to be a starter.
But you know, look, I don't know whose minutes he takes, but we already know in the playoffs the rotation gets smaller anyway. You're only gonna play about 8 guys.
8 players.
He's gonna be one of
You
those
think
8
he's gonna
guys.
be one of those 8?
Yes.
Yeah, who? The
Markieff.
Oh yeah,
of course.
for sure. They brought him in to play.
Because I mean, you got your starter. Is Rondo in the starting 5?
No.
Nah, he
So
goes
you
off
got
the bench.
Rondo. You got Who else?
They'll probably run 9 deep.
And Kyle Kuzma and Markieff. Those will probably be. But again, it depends on who you play.
And one of the big men. So they'll probably run.
So it'll probably be Caruso.
Possibly.
It'll probably be Caruso.
No. Caruso's going to get minutes.
Yeah, but he only got 8 minutes. So to Nick's point, like off the bench last night, they played Kuzma, Howard, Rondo, Caldwell, and Caruso.
I forgot about Caldwell too.
Look, we are looking at it in a blanket way. It depends on the matchup, and not every player is going to get minutes throughout the playoffs. It's gonna depend on the matchup.
Yes.
Therefore, you made this move for flexibility,
and that's why I'm saying, like, based off his lack. Well, I don't know if he has that much playoff experience, if any, based on the teams he's been on. But again, when you're just throwing a guy out there and expecting him to guard PG and Kawhi, and he ain't played since probably first round or whatever.
Right.
Like, what are
you're
you
professional.
Really?
You're professional.
Yeah, he's a pro, and I think, like I said, his versatility is going to help him because he's probably one of the most versatile players on the team outside of like LeBron in the main guys. So as far as the role players, he's probably the most versatile. They added a piece that goes at the top of that list for versatility.
So does that take him over the top of the Clippers?
No, not at all to me.
It keeps him on par.
Yeah. It just keeps him in the game.
I don't know if it keeps him on par. I still think the Clippers have the more loaded roster.
Of course. They have the
Clippers 1 through 12.
Exactly.
Yeah, 1 through 12.
They were just able to at least match some of their acquisitions with their own.
And that's what I mean. Just like look, if they didn't get Markieff, they would have taken a step down. They still stay where they are in terms of the arms race versus the Clippers.
Right.
That means, and that's what I mean by staying on par. Not even with the Clippers, but staying where the Lakers have been.
So if and maybe when they match up in the playoffs, you're still favoring the Clippers in that matchup.
No,
even with the injuries and all that.
To me, I still favor the Lakers for a couple reasons. I think that their duo is better. Obviously, the Clippers are deeper and they have a better head coach overall. But Kawhi and PG have only played 26 games together this season, and I think that dynamic is going to be tough in the playoffs. The other thing too is to me, as much as I love PG, he's not necessarily clutch in the playoffs. When have we really seen him clutch outside of the Indiana years against Miami and LeBron and them?
But head to head, what is the record head to head for these two?
Oh, Clippers got him 2-0.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when Cleveland had the big three, what team had their number in the regular season?
Indiana was one.
Regular season don't matter. It matters.
Chicago was another.
I'm not saying that the regular season doesn't matter and just throw it away. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that those records, right, going into the playoffs, it doesn't hold that much weight because it's really a clean slate, 0-0. And then you got to beat me 4 times within a week.
But to me, that gives me a glimpse into it, though. You know, we saw what the Clippers could do. Even not at full strength, we saw how dominant they were. Well, I wouldn't call it dominant. They were better, though. You know what I mean?
They won the game. I wouldn't say they were dominant.
I didn't mean
the Lakers dominated like 6 of those 8 quarters. The Lakers didn't finish the games in those. They fell apart in the fourth quarter.
And then let me ask you this, right? Like, do coaches always show their entire hand? Especially in a rivalry like that?
He got no hand like that, though.
Who?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, you already gave it up to the Clippers coaching staff, so you can't bring that up.
Oh, no. But what I'm saying is, like, to Ken's point, right? The Lakers were dominant the majority of the game. Mm-hmm. And in the last couple minutes is where they kind of fell apart. Mm-hmm. Can we say the same since those two meetings that the Lakers look like that same team, or have they gotten better in those closing moments?
Well, that's why I'm going back to the coaching thing. It's like Doc is going to be like, all right, to get this game wrapped up.
Let's
look at them right now. Mm-hmm. Both teams are going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, the Clippers are 5th seed, I think.
Yeah.
Right now.
Granted, they just got to get healthy, man. It's hard to really judge this team, but I know losing and frustration with perceived benefits to players can unravel a team. You know, Kawhi's frustrations that we saw yesterday, or what day was that? Saturday or Sunday?
Yeah, they were on a 3-game losing streak.
Was noticeable but understandable. I don't blame him. I would be frustrated too because that was a game that they probably could have stole. I think they'll get better. I think they have a lot of talent, but I just don't know if they'll have the chemistry they'll need come playoff time. And we keep looking at a potential Clippers-Lakers matchup. I keep telling y'all, man, Clippers may not even get there to even have that happen if they continue to stay in their position.
Right.
They may they may lose to somebody else.
But I'm just saying, FIFA said, 4 games out of 7 in a week. And it's the Clippers with Doc Rivers with that loaded roster. Like, they'll figure it out.
But I think
at least up until
that's
the Lakers
a lot of
matchup.
faith, man.
That is because especially
the nigga just won a championship. Hurt. He can't at least get out of the first round.
I say you take the 2 stars out of both lineups, and let's leave the coaches and the rest of the teams, and who's the better team.
Oh, we know that though. We know that. That's
think
unfair. Because if you do that across the board, the Clippers are the best team in the NBA.
But that's what I'm saying. So 4 out of 7, I think they have a better shot.
But we know that realistically, it doesn't necessarily come down to all of the other guys. It comes down to your best players in big moments. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? All I need is a shot, a la Ray Allen.
I will tell you a concern. I heard this on Colin today. I didn't know AD was averaging 4 points in the fourth quarter this season.
Yeah, but LeBron is also averaging the most points in the fourth quarter this season.
And I think
it's a balance thing.
I thought AD doesn't get that much minutes in the fourth quarter.
How much balance is that? That doesn't concern you? That this guy, top 5
not necessarily
players only averaging 4 points?
Not necessarily, because I think in the playoffs it'll be a matchup thing. Right, like especially against like a team like the Clippers, LeBron is gonna be. We know what LeBron is.
We know what LeBron is. Do we know what AD is?
I think in that matchup particularly, he will get
just in the playoffs.
I have a lot of faith in AD.
I have a lot of faith in AD
because he's only been to the playoffs or gotten out of the first round once.
I feel you, but that's not all him either though.
Well, how isn't he's the best player on the team?
Bro, do you remember those Pelican squads?
I understand that, but he's the best player on the team.
I get that, but how many times do the best player on the team don't make it? Like
LeBron got his team.
Ask your boy. Ask your boy.
I mean, this
ask
is
your boy Melo.
D-Wade got his team.
Ask your boy Melo.
Huh?
Ask your boy Melo.
Melo got his team out of the first round
one time.
What? What do you mean one time? He's never got his. He's got his team out of.
He got to the Western Conference one time.
Yeah, I'm talking. That's the Western Conference. I'm talking about the playoffs in general. He's only got out of the first round once. So he don't have that much playoff experience.
But look, all I'm saying is
so how are you trusting him to be good in the playoffs?
Because who can stop him? Who can stop him? Especially when you look at matchups. When it's matchup for matchup, who the Clippers got that's even going to slow down AD? Who?
AD going to slow down himself. And I got to tell you that those – look, I think I'm with Nick on this, and this is something that I've talked about at length on this show when everybody was pushing AD as the best player in the league. Check the videos. My thing is those 4 points concern me. What I saw yesterday concerned me. What I've seen in moments throughout this season when he's needed in the fourth quarter concerned me. He missed 2 free throws. He's an 85% free throw shooter. He missed an easy layup and a couple of shots yesterday. I think it was, 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter?
Looks a little tight.
Those things, they concern me, man.
And low-key, they've been talking about he's still a little banged up. Injuries here and there. We don't know how that has really unfolded. Like they need
to low manage his ass.
Colin keeps talking about how LeBron is telling him like just play through the shit. Like so he's playing through some injuries. So he's a little nicked up. And the deeper you go in the playoffs, he's gonna face some big boys. At least boys that's gonna push back. So and for me, AD when he comes down to like him being pressured, and he needs a shot. He always goes for a shot. He doesn't take you down and beat you.
That's not his game.
That's not his game. But that's his best attribute. If he's the biggest player on the court, everybody's doing small ball.
Did we say the same thing about KG? KG is very similar. KG is more comparable to AD than almost anybody else, bro. Did we say the same thing about KG? Oh, you got to put him in the post. You got to turn around and Charles Barkley or Shaq his ass and put him in the
So him being in the post against a smaller guard. You saw what he did to Gordon Hayward? Like, that's a matchup that you have to exploit. Mouse in the house. So you telling him, no, don't do that. Be you and be on the three-point line?
What I'm saying is first of all, yes, be you. Like because when you play outside of yourself, you're not going to be efficient. That's number one. Number two, yes, there are times that you have to exploit it and just use your size, right? Especially if you're struggling. If you got it going, whatever the hell you feel is whatever the hell you feel. If you're struggling, then just get an easy bucket. But that's also, again, up to the coaching staff, up to the playmakers on the team to get him easy shots to get him going. He's not a point guard. He's not a wing player. You have to get him the ball in positions to make easy buckets. But he can bring the ball
up, right?
But
I'm just asking, has he not been able to?
He's not
He was
Giannis.
a point guard in the back in the day.
But he's not Giannis.
A wing player.
Yeah.
He's not.
All right. So he ain't a big man in the post and he ain't a wing player. So I guess we're going to figure out what he is in the playoffs.
Man, he's like KG, man.
Yeah, KG.
I can't call him KG because KG will kill him.
KG mentally was
You're
different.
talking about, but with the games.
He's talking about the style.
Yeah.
the style of his game.
KG was a killer.
Boy, if he had KG mental.
Oh no,
He'd be the best in the league.
Yeah,
KG was a
100%.
killer.
Another Laker former Laker that I wanted to talk about is DeMarcus
Well, we got to
Cousins.
do this, man.
Is this the
He
end
gonna
of,
be back next year.
Is this the end of DeMarcus Cousins?
Would you
Nah.
come back if you
I would, because AD's there, Rondo's there.
But you don't feel slighted in some kind of way?
He can't.
Nah,
He can't. That was
because
a
They
I'm
business.
friend zoned his ass.
That was a business decision.
Exactly. He's hurt. We don't know even if he comes back for the playoffs, what is he going to be? Because we saw him last year with Golden State. When he came back, he wasn't, even though he had some moments, he just wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? So
Do you think he'll ever be right again?
I
don't.
You don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I hope.
Is this it?
I hope.
His game didn't really rely on a lot of
didn't.
athleticism.
He fell fast
So
though.
and the type of injuries he had will do that.
Yeah, they'll
It'll
do
zap
that.
your body.
Quad injury.
Look at
Yeah.
D Rose. How many years is D Rose removed from his last injury, and he's just now getting back to a semblance of what he was?
But I will say, with the benefit of D Rose is that he wasn't a big man, and the way that people look at big men nowadays, I know DeMarcus Cousins can, like skill wise, do all that, but if you're not available and you're a big man, it's like you're an afterthought at this point.
True. But D Rose was way more explosive, and his game took a bigger hit than I think DeMarcus would, because DeMarcus wasn't based off of explosion and jumping and dunk. You know what I'm saying? He's a skilled big man. Skills don't go nowhere. Ask Arvydas Sabonis. That man couldn't move. That man was stuck in cement and could still play. And I think an underrated part of DeMarcus Cousins' game is his passing. And because he could pass and he has a high IQ, I don't think he's all the way done. I think there's another team that will get him on another veteran minimum contract. He's going to go to another contender, and I think that he could definitely contribute. I don't think he's all the way done. I just don't know if we've seen we may have seen the last of prime DeMarcus.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna ask where would he go?
I think Houston.
Houston would be nice.
Houston would be the nicest place, and I'm not even saying this year, maybe next year, because obviously
I'm thinking next year.
yeah, because a lot of those guys that they traded for and stuff like that, they have more than 1 year left on their contract. So I think if Houston goes through this playoff run and they are way too small, DeMarcus is the perfect guy for you, because he can rebound, he could grab boards. Obviously defensively he ain't gonna do nothing, but he can also hit the three, so he could just chill and wait for Russ and James Harden to get him the rocket. He could bang those shots.
I was thinking Portland, if he's healthy enough, because they need
Portland.
rebounding. I've been watching.
They got
all
White
season.
But yeah, Hassan averaged double digit.
Hassan ain't shit.
I feel you, but he gets double digit rebounds, and that's what you want out of a big man. He already gives you that.
But Hassan,
And he
that's
gives you better
all
blocks.
he does is just get a rebound.
No, he also gets blocks. I think one game this year he almost had like a triple double with
But I'm
blocks.
talking
And
about
then that's
spacing.
like-
there needs to be some space.
I give you the,
you know what I mean?
But the thing is, the way that they're constructed, everybody outside of their five can shoot and create.
You don't
plays.
need
So
him and Melo on the same team. I just
Boogie
don't
and
see
Melo?
them- Yeah,
What
Boogie
you mean?
and
Melo just dropped 32. What you mean?
I'm saying that, but I'm saying as
Melo
far as
might not
on
make the playoffs.
they play one side of the court. They don't play defense like that.
Yeah.
So
I do think he might be back with the Lakers. It feels like there was like an
It's mutual.
agreement worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like look, we got to do this
Yeah.
because
They called him in the
But
office.
look, we didn't want to do this, but we're open to having you back and blah blah blah. So something was worked on.
Especially because how close he is with LeBron and
AD.
Rondo and AD.
Yeah.
It's like they would at least be like, bro, don't do my homie like that. Like
Right,
at least
right.
give him.
But I
a
did see
olive
them
branch.
say they didn't know where he was in his rehab. They were like, we don't know where he is
Well, I
right now.
saw a
Well,
report
so
that
it's
said he
kinda
was
like-
about to come back.
No, Frank Vogel.
Yeah.
Frank Vogel himself said that he'll be back for the playoffs and he plans to get him minutes. But at the same time, like those are going to be questionable minutes. With Markieff, you're not questioning those minutes. You know what you're getting from him. Boogie is like game to game. Like, does he have it? Does he not have it? Like, and in the playoffs, those possessions are too critical to question those minutes you're giving Boogie. Whoever you're going to give those minutes to, you have to be 100% confident in what you're getting out of it. And with Boogie, you wasn't going to do that.
Y'all mentioned this in the chat as far as why aren't people talking about Trae Young as much as they're talking about Luka Doncic? So
Look, that's the reason why we have a show. And from the
Yeah.
from draft night, look, man, Trae Young. I said it from draft night. Everybody talking hella snack, but Trae Young is gonna be that guy, and he has been that guy. You know what I think the biggest difference? Okay, so I think there's two things happening here. Number one, we haven't seen somebody come from overseas and dominate early like Luka has. That's number one.
That's number one.
So it was a big question mark, him coming over, because even Kristaps was nice, but he wasn't Luka nice, especially year one, year two.
Night.
You know what I'm saying? And then number two, they're just winning. They have a better overall team and culture there. You know, Rick Carlisle is still a hangover from those championship teams. He has championship pedigree.
How many assists is Trae Young averaging now?
He's close to
He's
double
second
digits.
in the league.
Yeah, he's behind
LeBron.
Okay.
And they still got Dirk as far as a
mentorship, all of that stuff. You know, Rick Carlisle is a holdover from those championship teams. Mark Cuban does a good job of keeping that Dallas Maverick brand, and you know, maybe not above the Lakers and the Knicks and things of that nature, but you know of the Dallas Mavericks, and they just have a better team. Plus, they made a splashy move to get Kristaps. You know what I'm saying? So they're winning. They got the splashy moves and all of that. The Hawks, who the hell are the Hawks? Y'all already know how I feel about Georgia teams. Teams, not just the Atlanta, Georgia as a state. I think that Trae is that first move that is gonna break that wave, but they gotta win. They still. And here's the thing: I think that they're in a great position because they're gonna get a top 3, top 5 pick this year. I don't know who they're gonna get, but I think at the top of this draft, it's really good at the top of the draft. And next year, when you get back a healthy Clint Capella, hopefully you get John Collins for the entire year next year. DeAndre Hunter takes a step up. Cam Reddish takes a step up. Kevin Huerter gets even better. They got guys. Next year is the year. It has to be the year where they are vying for a playoff spot.
Trae Young's numbers is phenomenal.
Ridiculous.
30 points, 9.2 assists, 4 rebounds for a guard his side. That's a lot.
Yeah. I'll be that guy. It's because Luka white. It's because he's white.
I thought you were gonna say that was gonna be number one thing.
No. That's
like the NBA hasn't had a white guy dominate like this since Larry Bird. Like, to be honest, like even Dirk was just like,
We all have a role to play on this show. It's because he's white, man, and I think that's the thing that's frustrating me because I really like Luka. I love the trade. I think it worked out best for both teams.
Yeah, it did.
We can clearly see the Hawks didn't lose anything out
they
of
gained.
this.
They got Cam Reddish out the deal.
And Cam is coming along, man. Like he's playing well, and he's starting to really find his groove and get comfortable. You're right, Nick. They haven't seen a guy like this. So finally they got a guy they're comparing to LeBron and all these other greats. Even last year, before they were winning, they were talking about him. And Trae got some love late because Trae was having some ridiculous season, ridiculous games. But this season it's been different. And I think what people are overlooking is that a lot of the stuff what FIFA detailed out is correct, but they have more of a veteran roster. This team is extremely young. They got a better coach. And like everything lines up well for them right now. We're looking for the Hawks ahead in the future. So if I'm their GM, if I'm that front office, I'm trying to think, okay, so now I know I have these development pieces. DeAndre Hunter looks good. We know what John Collins is. Cam Reddish, is coming along fine. We know what Huerter is. We got Clint Capella. So now let's start to figure out who we're going to draft next. And in a year or two, who we're going to have to coach this
Obi
team.
Toppin.
if Luka's numbers are nice too though. Like
Luka balling.
29 points, over 8 assists, damn near 9 assists, and over damn near 10 rebounds.
Yeah.
So it's like he's just all over the board.
He look like LeBron numbers.
And I think when it comes to the presentation from the introduction was what I think set the bar, because Luka came out balling and we were surprised by that. Trae Young, now that I think about it, when he came out, people thought he might be a bust because he couldn't get his shot. Well, I'm just saying, like the media though, like they were like, he can't get his shot off right. He's not averaging what, and then he had that explosive second half that kind of overcorrected it. But now it's like when the first time I think about it, it's like, I think people are still waiting to see, as far as Trae. Can he still last? Can he still keep this up?
That's what I was thinking too.
Luka,
more so than Luka being white.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Same thing.
Yeah.
It was more. Luka came out blazing, and they were winning.
If Trae Young's name was Curry doing those games, what would people be saying?
You already know. Second coming, this, that. And I know I put it in the group me, but Trae Young in 2 years has had more 40-point 10 assist game than Steph Curry has had his entire career. Steph Curry is like 6-7 years into the league now. You know what I'm saying? So just let's put that into context for a little bit, right? And when Trae came out of college, what did I say? I said he's a better point guard. I think Steph is the better shooter. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they can both shoot, but what separates them is that Trae is truly a true point guard. He just can shoot from damn deep like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't surprise me that he had that he's had these scoring outbursts. It really doesn't even surprise me at this point that they haven't been winning. Because when you look at the rest of the roster, who has been consistent this year? Name me one other guy outside of Trae.
Too many young guys.
Yeah. And I want to remind the people that when I mention Steph Curry, I know a lot of people on Twitter and in the chat or wherever are going to default to, well, he won a championship. I would like to remind you guys what people were saying about Steph Curry before he won the title.
People don't remember those days.
People don't remember those days.
They said his ankles was tissue when he was about to get – literally the Warriors didn't know what they had because they were trading him and Monte Ellis, and they was like, pick one against with who was – you go to the Bucks or somewhere like that.
I think so.
Marvin Williams?
No,
Monte Ellis.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
They
were asking him to pick one,
and
they chose Monte Ellis because Steph was like an injury concern at that point.
And just look at what Steph read up at, right? Like in terms of after his rookie contract, he signed a 4-year, $44 million deal.
He signed a stupid low second year.
Which is what allowed them to get the KDs and stuff down the road.
Blessing in disguise, but still.
Blessing in disguise.
It was a slight.
Because I'll tell you like this. You signing Trae to the utmost max.
Oh, yeah.
He's not getting no small deal like that.
If it wasn't for Atlanta being such a hip-hop culture area, I think we'll be hearing a lot more, like, concern from Trae as far as, like, hey, bro, you got to get this shit together. Even though he's already starting to say it, but I'm just saying, like, the fact that we got, like,
Quavo I love that, shit. Too.
Yeah, they've made the moves to improve the roster. Obviously, outside of getting LeBron this year, you wasn't going to make no damn playoffs. Like, it just wasn't.
But the way these young cats are coming in now, they want to win. You know what I mean? Like, but they don't like to lose for that long.
But not everybody has the game to shift your roster to try to win now. Mm-hmm. Trae has shown, we need to win now because I can carry the load on this side of the court. How many rookies come in and you have to make those type of moves? Luka, they made them. Oh shit, we got Luka. Let's go get Kristaps. Let's go get
because they feel like
exactly because they knew what they had, which is the problem when LeBron the first time was in Cleveland, they didn't make those moves. So when you have a guy that's a prodigy, a guy that you know, oh damn, he's gonna be here at least 10, 12 years, and we have a championship window with this guy as our best player. You got to make the moves. And they've done that. Now it's just the other guys, the younger guys, catching up. John Collins, I don't consider a young guy no more. We know what he is. He's consistent. Obviously, he's still getting a little bit better because he is a little bit younger. But we know what he is. He's going to give you 16-plus and about 10 boards. He has three-point range now. He's going to rebound. He's going to be a tough guy. We know what Clint Capella is. What the hell do we say about the rest of that roster? We don't know what they are. They have to gain that consistency. They have to establish themselves in the league. I still think that in this offseason, they still got to sign some veterans too. You know what I'm saying? Some veterans that are going to play because we still can't rely on the other youngins. They just not ready to contribute like that. They just not.
Yeah, and this isn't, we were talking about it in the group chat, and shout out to Manny, Any Given Sunday. He was like, oh, man, stay up with man Luka. This isn't really – my criticism isn't about Luka. Mm-hmm. My criticism is about the media, and that was it. First Take didn't even talk about his 50-point game.
Yep.
Undisputed did, but that's just so Skip could shit on him.
Yep.
And I think
they disrespecting Trae.
Yeah, so it's just unfair. But I do, real quick, before you go to your other topic, I don't know if you guys saw that post. I'm going to try to pull it up, but it was a post where they said, in the finals, who would you want? It was LeBron, Kawhi.
It was LeBron,
KD,
Giannis, Luka, and I think that may have been it.
Yeah, but my thing was get Luka up out of here.
Yeah, he's not ready for that.
And, people on Twitter did what they do. And they said, well, who would you replace him with? And I said, Kyrie. Mm-hmm. And people, thought that was a ridiculous notion.
Nope.
Or even
Dame, Kyrie, somebody that's been there and done it before. We haven't seen Luka yet. Mm-mm. It's his second year. And this is no disrespect to Luka, but we've seen Dame.
Yep.
We've seen Kyrie in the biggest moment come through. Yep. And I kept getting all kind of, but Kyrie ain't healthy. Obviously, guys, neither was KD. Mm-hmm. Kawhi's not healthy. So we're clearly talking about if they both were healthy. Mm-hmm. Then I got, when did Kyrie win without LeBron?
That's not the question.
He won in Boston. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it was just all kind of moving this and moving that. And I'm like, the question is
in the finals,
who do we want?
Player in the final? It doesn't matter.
Right. All of and it's just like, it was driving me crazy, just like what Twitter was twittering on me, and it was driving me bananas. And I'm like, guys, like, I'm giving you are facts. You guys are responding with, narrative and emotions and stuff about all the other stuff outside of that. But we've seen Kyrie do it. He's earned that respect.
100.
He got,
That's the only reason why you probably have that much respect for Kyrie now is because of that shot. Outside of that shot, we have a conversation. But when we talking about the question,
but it's even more than that shot.
Like he was putting up 40.
Exactly. It's even more than that shot because I was going back the other night and I was watching a whole bunch of finals highlights of that finals. Like that game 5 when they were down 3-1, LeBron put up 41, Kyrie put up 41. If Kyrie would have scored 40, they would have lost the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they needed every single point. And Kyrie, to me, was even more clutch in that game than even LeBron was.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, as far as the question goes in the finals, is like, that's where Kyrie gets all his respect, is in the finals. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
of course.
Because
But
and
all I'm saying, it was beyond that one shot. It was game 5 and on.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like LeBron and Kyrie literally had to put the whole team on their backs.
Hey, and don't forget that playoff game, his first playoff game, when he got hurt, he was having a good game.
Oh, yeah.
They could have won.
They couldn't do nothing with him.
They probably could have won that series. Now I'm thinking about it.
If Kyrie didn't get hurt.
Even if you still don't have Kevin Love.
100%. They just needed one other guy. Because we saw, to me, I think that was the greatest finals by any player that didn't win in LeBron James. The numbers he was putting, the Herculean effort that he had to put forth to even be in those games.
He carried him. That was the best he's ever.
That's the best he's ever played.
Matthew Dellavedova a star.
That's the best he's
Exactly.
played.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know it's the popular thing now to kind of shit on Kyrie and stuff like that. But understand something. Everything that people saying about Kyrie now, I started saying this shit on this show. This shit originated here. I was the one that said they needed to trade Kyrie because he was a cast on that team. All this stuff y'all seeing right now, don't forget who the originators were.
It took me a while to feel like that because, like, I thought him being a cancer on the team was benign, but now I'm realizing it's spreading everywhere you go.
Yeah, but I'm not defending any of Kyrie's antics or whatever, but just
basketball player in the moment, biggest moment.
That's it.
Like, there's very few that rise to that occasion, and I like the fact that you put up Dame there too, because even though Dame hasn't gotten to the Western Conference or even the championship, bro, you talking about clutch?
I'm not scared of when he got the ball in his hand. I'm like, bro, do you? Because I know
yes,
that's what it matters.
And we saw it. What wasn't it year 1 or was it year 2?
I don't know what year it was.
Against Houston.
Yeah.
Bro, he came
the moment
into the
has
league.
never been too big for him.
And it was a walkout for the series. Yep. Because that was it.
Yep. Yeah, man. Dame is another one.
That's when I realized LaMarcus Aldridge was not it.
Nope. Nope.
Y'all talked about the Cavs a lot. Kyle put this in the chat, man. Let's talk about that front office. What the hell is going on in Cleveland?
Oh, my God.
Jesus Christ. Let me see if they won tonight. They were winning.
They head coach is now doing some other job in the building.
Yeah.
After he got fired.
He's a scout now. John Beeline. To me, the Cleveland Cavs organization just shows how good LeBron is. Because
they add to his legacy.
It adds to his legacy. Because you draft the man, you didn't make no roster moves. His second best player was Jonas Ilgauskas. They make the finals or they make the playoffs every single year. He leaves, you become the worst team. Mm-hmm. You draft Kyrie, he comes back, you make 4 finals appearances, he leaves, y'all are the worst team again.
I think there was I think since the 98 or 91, outside of the LeBron years, that was the last time they went to the playoffs as the Cavs without LeBron.
100%.
Like
the moves are so questionable, right? Like, obviously, you got to move on from K-Love because you're playing K-Love max money. When you play somebody max money, they got to be one of your top 2, maybe 3 stars on a championship winning team.
Yes.
He's nan one of those right now. You know what I'm saying?
Never will be again.
Never will be. I think he could be a 3rd star depending on where he goes. You know what I'm saying? But you're paying him like that, and he's not that for this franchise.
They paid him sack.
Then you go make a trade for Andre Drummond.
That was
And granted, you didn't give up much to get him, but then he potentially could be an unrestricted free agent. Why would you make that move? Then
I didn't get that.
Back-to-back drafts, you draft Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, and you make a move for Deontay Exum. And then they're talking about if they get the first pick, they're going to take Anthony Edwards. What the hell are y'all doing? What is the direction?
I'll tell you. I'm not going to tell you the direction.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. But we see the lack of David Griffin.
100%.
Yeah, it is extremely noticeable. I think even Chauncey Billups, I know they were talking to him, would have done a far better job than what's being done right now.
That's why LeBron came out and cussed their ass out when they fired David Griffin.
So I think that was the beginning of the end. They need to get some basketball guys in there. That coach, for him to reference them as thugs, or even for them to even think that he said it was a problem and they never recovered from that. I just looked tonight. They just beat the Miami Heat. And I tried to warn y'all about the Heat, by the way. But
they're going to be all right.
I said that too.
Well, I don't see them going that far.
Okay.
Regardless.
All right. But anyway, they beat the Heat tonight. And I think they've been competitive, and I think they had another good win.
Well, the Colin Sexton came out, and he made a quote as far as like when Bayon got fired, that the way he was coaching them was like college. Like he would demand so much from like every possession.
But that's why they brought him, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean,
because they had a young roster.
Yeah.
So it's a gift and a curse, right? Like sometimes if you have a young roster, because the Celtics did the same thing. That's the reason why they went and got Brad Stevens. We got a young roster. Let's get somebody that can relate, somebody that can teach them the game and progress them.
Right.
John Beilein, I get it in theory, but not everybody can do that. And not everybody can transition into the professional style. These guys don't practice like that.
Exactly.
These guys, unless it's the playoffs.
It takes a special type coach to do that.
It does. It does, especially coming from college like that. And then let's look at what type of college coach they were. John Beilein is more Bobby Knight than anything.
Yeah.
When you looked at Brad Stevens, he was running NBA sets in college. He ran college program like he would in the NBA, which is why the transition was more seamless. Now with John Beilein, it's like they made a mistake. Just like when who's the first coach before Tyronn Lue took over that they brought from overseas?
Oh,
David Black.
Yeah, Black.
You know what I'm saying? Like at the time, I was like, okay, I get it in theory. You know what I'm saying? You got a young team. You got a European-style coach that has won on several levels. You know what I'm saying? You want to get Kyrie and all of these guys to buy in. Somebody that can collaborate and not demand, right? Because he doesn't have any real roots in the NBA. It would have worked. But then LeBron comes, and then you trade Wiggins, and now it becomes a veteran team. David Black wasn't ready for that. He wasn't ready for that. Just like John Beilein wasn't ready for this. You know what I'm saying? So the Cavs, look, man, they have what, 3 head coaches that they're paying now that aren't head coaches no more.
Mike Brown.
They still might be paying Mike Brown. I know they definitely paying Tyronn Lue.
Yeah.
You know, like bro, like this is bad. This is beyond bad.
So you wouldn't take Anthony Edwards?
I love Anthony Edwards, but when I look, okay, so you giving me the GM hat?
GM, yeah.
You give me the GM hat.
He taking Anthony Edwards.
Not if I'm Cleveland, because I have too many other guys that are young that haven't established themselves. That Anthony Edwards is now going to make them like question the pick, and then also is going to take their time. Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, they have high draft stock capital.
One of them got to go.
You know what I'm saying? I got first and foremost, I wouldn't have made the damn Andre Drummond trade, because now if he walks, you like, what did you get in return? You didn't get Jack in return.
I mean, but they ain't get rid of shit to get him though.
I get that. Okay, I get that. But I gotta get rid of, my first move is get rid of K-Love. That has to be the first move. The second move is you have to identify out of these 3 young guards that we got, Dante Exum, Colin Sexton, and Darius Garland, who are we keeping?
Well, we know Dante Exum is out there because that man hasn't been healthy since he got
Yeah,
him.
You know what I'm saying? So you
not
probably got to trade him. And then I never liked the dynamic between Darius Garland and Colin Sexton. It doesn't work.
Not at all.
It doesn't work. So then you want me to draft another guard? Like the roster builder in me can't allow that. Like if I could get James Wiseman, I'll go get James Wiseman.
I think the Garland Sexton thing is starting to work. I think because they moved Sexton to the 2 and him play at the Garland play at the 1.
Okay,
so
but then you draft Anthony
now.
Edwards. So then you move Colin back to the 1. You move Darius Garland to the bench.
One would have to go.
I think I think you're right. I think you would go with the big or get Wiseman because I think the problem is that Sexton doesn't have a lot of value, so you can't even move him for anything.
Exactly. That's true.
So he's like a dead asset.
So yeah, I would tear the whole thing down.
I think everybody.
I think it's going to be interesting to watch. Like, what do you do? Because I don't think while they're not great players, I don't think Sexton and Garland are scrubs. Like, I do think they're better than the guy the Knicks draft, Nicolina, whatever his name was.
Frank the 10th.
Yeah. Frank never went anywhere. Dante Epson never went anywhere when he was drafted. And some other guys that were picked, guards that were picked high that never kind of went anywhere. So these guys are pieces on a team. They're just not the team.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, as far as the last one I got, I don't know if y'all got any other teams that have been watching and want to talk about.
I do have a question that I heard. Paul Pierce, and I know he probably just being a homer.
Paul Pearson.
But he said that Boston has the best starting 5 in the NBA. Agree or disagree?
Let me look at it.
Starting 5 in the NBA.
So he must be talking about every single position. He ain't just talking about what sounds good.
As a starting 5 unit.
To me, I think it's still the Clippers. When healthy, obviously. I think it's the Clippers. Because you talk about balance. I don't know of another roster because as much as I love Boston, you know what I'm saying? I think Boston probably has the second or third best starting 5. But when you look at the Clippers, there's no better balance of offensive defense in a starting 5.
They got a dogs on offense, dogs on defense.
Boston starting 5 is Marcus Smart at the 1, Jaylen Brown at the 2, Tatum at the 3, Hayward at the 4, and Theus, whatever his name.
Well, technically Kemba.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So Kemba.
Marcus comes off the bench.
So Kemba, Brown, Tatum, Hayward, Theus.
Theus playing good, too.
No, he
playing
is.
good.
Yeah.
He is.
And in his role, like, what's the saying? Be a star in your role?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's doing that.
So when I look at the Clippers and I rival the Boston Celtics, what Kemba is on offense is what
Beverly
is on defense. So they cancel each other out on different sides of the ball. Jaylen Brown and who starts? Does Paul George start at the 2?
Paul George.
I take Paul George every day over Jaylen Brown, at least right now. You're talking about Jayson Tatum and Kawhi, not even a question.
Right.
That's 3
at
the
of 5.
4, who starts at the 4 for the Clippers?
Right now, their starting lineup is Beverly at the 1, George at the 2, Leonard at 3, Morris at 4, and Zubac at 5.
So for who starts at the 4? Morris or Gordon Hayward. At this point, they cancel each other out. Utah, Gordon Hayward, he was better.
Yeah.
But
I like Morris because of the dog. He gonna bully Hayward. Yeah.
I'll take Hayward.
And then who starts at the 5 for the Clippers?
Zubac.
Zubac.
It's the same.
Theus is better than Zubac.
I can't say
Okay,
that,
that's
though.
fine. I'll give you that.
I agree with that.
I'll give you that. But
it's not saying much, but I agree with
But
that.
when you look at offense, defense, playing both sides, give me the Clippers starting 5.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah, when I heard, I'm like, I don't know about that one, bro. But I understand.
But Boston's top 2.
No,
three.
they're
they up there.
That's a great starting 5.
Yeah, they up there. They're up
They ain't
there.
gonna get all 5 off,
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think you got to put Philly in the top 5 when they're healthy.
That's what. Well, what was your last question?
Well, it was more about Kobe's memorial. And
All right, hold that.
Yeah.
You heard about Ben Simmons?
Back injury.
back injuries.
That's
every
not
time I
good,
hear back
man.
injuries,
I
I
saw
think
it.
Larry Bird.
That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. I know we talk Philly a lot, but this is such big news for them that we have to at least discuss it because he may be done for the season. We don't know how bad
I saw the
this back
reports.
is.
He's out for weeks.
Well, they say he's out indefinitely. And
Yeah.
you know what that means.
That's even worse.
Yes.
That's
You know what
scary.
I mean?
Yep. And that's why I kind of moved this from orange to red. Like first it was just a couple of days or weeks, indefinitely.
Yeah.
That's not good. So now what does the best player in the world do named Embiid, who went from 39 to a dud, to getting smacked by Giannis to putting up 49 against the lowly Hawks tonight. Like, as much as I love Embiid, and I love that he said that, But now you got to go out and prove
put
it.
A target on his back.
Yeah, and you can't prove it against the Hawks, bro.
That's not a,
you know. And I understand now against Giannis, you're 1-for-1. You beat the shit out of them, and they beat the shit out of you. But they beat the shit out of you after you said what you said, and then you go play Giannis. Giannis heard that. Giannis heard that.
Everybody heard that.
Yeah. So Giannis came in and put them hands on what
paws on you?
Yeah, put them paws on it. So I think moving forward, what do the Sixers do from here? And I think it's going to be interesting to see how Embiid steps up.
They got to trade one of them.
Well, just the regular season. So just from the regular season to the playoffs, because now. What if he doesn't come back? Now this is your squad, Embiid, and is Embiid enough?
You just got to ride it out.
Embiid has to touch the ball every time down the court. That's basically what you got to do now. You got to feed him and feed him and feed him.
Would that be enough to get to the finals?
I don't know.
No, because
the finals is out of the question if Simmons is out.
Yeah, 100%, because you need stars. We know that. And like I was saying earlier, it comes down to matchups and it comes down to talent. And without Simmons, they just simply don't have enough talent. You know what I'm saying? Even though I like Horford, I like the other people, Jason Richardson, I like all of the moves that they made. Elton Brand's doing a hell of a job, but it's not enough.
I don't know about that.
You don't like them?
He never should have traded for Tobias Harrison. You and I disagreed on that.
Well, here's the thing. So it wasn't
and
just
Jimmy.
So the Jimmy thing. So why do you disagree that he shouldn't have made those moves? So he should have just stood pat with Robert Covington, Dario Saric, all of those guys.
Those guys knew their role and they was playing good ball. I like. Well,
Robert Covington was hot
Tobias
and
made a little bit more sense. The Jimmy thing, I had my doubts about him staying. Yeah. Anyway,
I think the Jimmy thing was more about culture. I think he, outside of him being a good player, I think it was more about like he wants to bring that energy, that dog.
But you're getting rid of assets. Yeah. I mean, like it's a net gain. Like they got nothing.
But like FIFA said, it's about stars. Like
no.
That's what it was about. They're bringing the name.
Well, here's the thing. I think
go ahead.
I think it was very multiple. I think it was for culture, but it also signified we are winning now. Like the process is done. We are in win now mode. We have a championship core between Embiid and Simmons. Those guys ain't going nowhere, but we can add to the thing.
They tried.
And then wait, hold on. Then you said that they didn't add nothing, right? I think that they do have the Robert Covington replacement, Matthias Thybulle. This guy is number one in terms of steals amongst all rookies, in terms of steals per game and overall steals. Matthias, and he shoots a high percentage from three. He's a 3-and-D guy. I think eventually he'll be the Robert Covington replacement. You know what I'm saying? He's a rookie right now. So they've done a good job in terms of drafting and moving assets when they had to move them. Here's the thing. Like in terms of Jimmy Butler, I was 50-50 on it, and I think that if they would have won or at least made the finals, I think Jimmy probably would have came back. And maybe that's being a little hopeful.
It is.
But so you think that you get that far and then you still bounce because you want your own team that bad?
From what it's sounding like to me, based on the things that Stephen A. is saying, that he had no intentions of coming back at all.
It sounds
it
like
was
that,
all he was going to go to Miami.
It sounds like that Cavs trade that we just talked about with Andre Drummond. Like knowing if you knew that going in, we don't know what Elton Brand knew, but if you kind of know that going in. And then he's going to be unrestricted free agents, or he could sign anywhere after that. Like what you gave up, as far as for that little short run of experiment, and hopefully he will stay. That's a risky business, especially now looking back at it 2020. You know.
But remember, the main thing that you gave up to get him was Robert Covington, and you already drafted his replacement. So
yeah, but like, what do they look like without him?
They gave him up too, and
who?
Dario.
But how did Dario wind up in Phoenix?
He left. He went in that trade with Covington. They both went to Minnesota first.
Okay.
So giving up both of them is what hurt me. That's starting 3 and 4, and the way they play ball. I mean, they stepped up. They played some good games.
But then that's why they went and got Tobias to play a smaller four. You know, and to me, from a basketball perspective, if you're going to keep Embiid and Simmons, Tobias made a little bit more sense because Dario, even though he was a stretch four, he could hit the three. He didn't really could create his own shot. He didn't have handles like that. He was another dependent player where Tobias, you can give him the rock and he could do other things. The money now, the money they paid Tobias,
that's because they had to pay somebody. You know what I'm saying?
They had to pay somebody. And if you didn't give him that, he was probably gonna walk and go somewhere else and get.
Yeah,
you can't lose both.
Yeah,
exactly. You can't lose both.
That's what I'm saying. But like now, it's just like again, I know it's easy to say this and looking in hindsight, but you have to trade. Like, I don't see how you move forward with this team, especially with you see that clearly Simmons and, at least for me, it's clear, Simmons and Embiid can't win together. They can't go far together. We've tried it so many times. We've tried to do different new people.
How many times have they tried it?
They've tried it since Simmons got there. Because they drafted Embiid first, right? And then Simmons got there. And
so this is the third year that they played together? Mm-hmm. That's not long enough.
I thought it was, I mean, it seems like I thought it was 5 years. I thought they've been playing with each other.
They played it together three healthy seasons.
3 healthy seasons.
Okay.
But it's probably been longer than that technically. But I think that right now you kind of see what they are. And, well, I'll say this one caveat. They should have changed coaches last year. I've been on Brett Brown as far as, like, I already know who he was. Y'all were talking about, like, he's a good guy for right now to help him try to maybe see what he could do to get over the hump. I knew what he was last year. He wasn't shit. Because especially after that Boston series where they were young, yes. But the way that late game execution, that's a coaching thing.
But depending on the roster, it's not always a coaching thing. Because they, like you said, they were extremely young. Young guys don't look at Boston a couple years ago. They didn't execute down the stretch against Cleveland.
Boston took them to the Cavs to 7
but
in the
we
Eastern
understand.
Conference Finals. You know what I'm saying?
But when the time mattered, they fucked up.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're talking about a coach that's literally one game away from the NBA Finals compared to a coach who's maybe 2 or 3 games away from the second round, it's like that's a big difference.
Man, look, Brad Stevens ain't been to the finals yet.
He hasn't.
Nope.
But you have more faith in him than Brett Brown.
Has he been to the finals?
I'm just asking you that question.
Has he been to the
He's
finals?
been in the Eastern Conference Finals twice at least.
He didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always been my thing.
But we're not talking about. I'm not comparing Brad Stevens to Phil Jackson or to even.
But we're talking about a better coach
Steve
that still
Kerr.
can't get to the finals.
No, but he's gotten further. He's shown you that he can coach a team over the hump if you give him the right pieces.
Nick Nurse. How long has Nick Nurse been coaching in the league?
2 years.
2
Second
years
year right now.
Yeah.
What happened to Nick? What did Nick
He
Nurse
won
do
the
last
championship
year?
his first year.
Mm-hmm.
But Nick Nurse had a team of veterans,
Exactly.
and a guy who won
that's the point.
MVP
But that's the point.
before.
But that's the point right there. The reason why they executed down the stretch is because they have veterans.
No, but and I'm saying this, but I don't trust that coach. I think.
But did you trust Nick Nurse? Who trusted Nick Nurse in year one?
I didn't know nothing to know Nick Nurse, but I know enough about Brett Brown. I've seen enough before Brett Brown to say this now.
And you know what I know about Brad Stevens? He's good enough to coach to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's it.
All right.
Where's the lie?
Facts.
Where's the lie?
I'm not
Facts.
saying that's a lie.
And he had Kyrie on his team
The
too.
question isn't about Brad Stevens getting people over the hump. It's about Brett Brown for this 76ers squad. Has he helped or hurt or even hindered this team?
He's helped them.
I don't think so.
I think he's helped in the
should've got Mark
growing,
Jackson.
in the nurturing, in the maturing. Now,
Maturing how?
Look, listen. I've always said this is that you have to put coaches in their perspective boxes, and you have coaches that are great for rebuilds. You have coaches that are great for getting you to that position, and then you have championship level coaches like a Monty Williams. Who was AI's coach?
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown. Larry Brown is a great rebuilding coach. You give him crumbs, and he's gonna make a damn meal out of that shit.
Yeah, that's why they put him in. That's why
That's why you get certain. Monty Williams is another one. You give him crumbs. He may not be a championship coach, but he's going to get you to the point where now that talent is ready to take that next step. Mark Jackson, we could say the same thing. He's a guy that is more of a rebuilding coach. I don't know if he's a championship level coach.
Well, he didn't get that opportunity to.
And I understand that. He hasn't got another job, but we know at bare minimum he's a rebuilding coach. He could take guys that are young, develop them into veterans, make them understand the game, and then we don't know if we can get over that hump, right? Spoelstra is a championship level coach. You see what I'm saying? Like there's Doc Rivers is a championship level coach. Yes.
LeBron is the championship level coach.
LeBron is.
Oh man, come on, y'all.
But let's not disrespect
Stop
Spoelstra.
with the Spo disrespect.
I'm not trying
Yeah.
to. Spo is top 5. I remember
I know
we had
you
an
said
argument
it, yes.
back in the day. Well, I didn't
But
think
he is
he
a
was,
championship
but he is
level coach.
He's
I
a
don't know,
championship
man.
coach. We ain't seen shit since then.
Tyronn
If you want to talk about Brad Stevens,
But
I
he-
can talk about same thing.
But he hadn't had the roster,
Exactly.
and he hasn't had a LeBron-esque player.
So
It takes talent.
Brad Stevens had Kyrie, and he had a better roster than Spo has
we know
had.
Kyrie a cancer.
He's had we
literally know Kyrie.
Who's
when he's off the court,
had the
they
better
play-
roster?
Yep.
Over the last couple of years, Brad Stevens or Eric Spoelstra?
Exactly. We already know. Don't even think about it, Nick.
I didn't say nothing.
Let's get back to the main point.
Is Brett Brown.
And I don't want to
take me somewhere else. I'm going
right.
to Brett Brown.
And I'm with you. I think to what FIFO was saying, I want to echo some of that. Like, I think This is the end for Brett Brown. So I'm with you. I gave him some room. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm done.
So much time with
it doesn't
him.
matter. We know now.
Yep.
We know now.
Right.
And some people make quicker decisions than others. And you would have made a quicker decision. I think we still would have been where we are right now.
Yep.
The thing is, where's the championship coach? Where's the Nick Nurse? Where's the Steve Kerr that's going to take this team over the top? Right. That's what they got to find. And, I'll just leave it at that. What you about to say?
I was going to ask you, too. You said that you think that Elton Brand has done a good job?
I think so.
In what way, though? Like, why would you think that? Because
No, go ahead.
I look at Al Horford, for example. I thought that was just the worst move ever. I didn't understand what that
you thought that was the worst move?
Yeah.
I
to
thought
pay
it was
him all
good
that
just
money.
to take away something from the Celtics who constantly beating you. But looking back on again, 2020 now, it's just like it probably didn't.
I just didn't see where he fit in that puzzle. Like that starting lineup, I like long lineups. I do. I like that. But I just saw that slowing it down even further. I didn't see where he fit. This man ain't played for in
Embiid insurance.
Yeah,
Embiid insurance.
He's a poor man's Embiid.
Exactly. In the playoffs, we know what we're gonna get, and what happens in the playoffs. Game slows down, right? You're not gonna pay that fast pace. Embiid insurance. Also, he could play with Embiid because he could hit the three. Also, he's a very underrated passer. So you can run
defender.
some sets and defender.
Is he worth what they gave him though?
Yeah, because they didn't give him no max contract.
They gave him with like a 2-year deal or something like that.
Yeah, like 80.
Like
no, not even.
No,
like,
it was more
like
than that, I thought.
Nah, it wasn't. Look at
Are
it.
you sure?
Yeah, fact
They
check
didn't
me.
break the bank on him.
Yeah, they didn't break the bank. I think they paid him what he's worth.
Yeah.
At this point in his career. The reason why I think Elton Brand has done a good job is
4-year, $109 million deal.
so that's
Is he
what,
worth
like
that?
20 a year? Yeah.
Yeah, it's about a little over.
$97 million guaranteed for Al Horford.
But the way the salary cap is, that's a good deal.
And you know why?
about
You know
that.
why? Because here's the thing. That's still a favorable number to move on from Al Horford if you wanted to in the future and still get something back. Because we see what happens with young players like a Kyle Kuzma that may be outplaying their rookie contract and you want to move them for some veteran talent and you can't because the money doesn't match. So now with Al Horford, he doesn't have to play all 4 years in Philly. He could play 1 or 2 years and be like, okay, you know what? It's not working the way we wanted. We can move on from him and bring back young talent, multiple young pieces, or another veteran or whatever. It just gives you flexibility. But it also, for the now, gives you that Embiid insurance, and it gives you another veteran guy that has been far in the playoffs, that knows what it takes to win, right?
And that was the bright side I was looking for when the season started, because I'm a Philly fan like that. But
I know.
I just
then let's look at the other moves, right? Like I think that what Elton Brand signified from Hinkie, what was Hinkie's first name?
Sam
Hinkie. From Sam Hinkie is that the process is over and now it's time to win. And every move that he has made is win now, because that's just where they are. They have 2 all-time talents. I'm not saying that they're greatest all-time, but when you look at Embiid and the numbers and the numbers, how favorable they are against the Will Chamberlains and all of the young players, Hakeem and all of that, how favorable they are. And then you look at Ben Simmons and the type of talent he is, you're supposed to build around those guys.
Who drafted Markieff Fultz?
Was that Elton Brand?
That wasn't Elton.
No, that was before Elton.
It was?
Yep.
And what about Zaire the next year? What's his name?
Zaire Smith. That was Elton.
Oh, we haven't seen him. I think he can play.
He's been hurt. Yeah, he could play. He could play. And then let's look at the because I think a GM, right? Like, it's not just the trades, but I think it's timing of stuff, but also how do you draft? To me, I primarily look at GMs and I rate them. Like, drafting is high on my priority list. And when I look at Elton, he's done a phenomenal job drafting. Phenomenal. Again, Matisse Thybulle.
That was
amazing.
That was a sleep.
That was a good pick.
Zaire Smith. And
I don't
he's
know
not
about
drafting
Zaire
high
yet though.
Oh,
The
Zaire.
jury's
I think
still out.
Zaire is nice. And then who was the shooter that they traded to the Clippers last year too? To
Shemet.
get Tobias.
I was mad
Shemet.
about that trade.
No, but he's drafting him
now
too.
that trade I was pissed about.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're gonna give up JJ Redick, you had to keep that man because you saw what he was doing.
No. I know. But that's the reason why I'm saying that Elton Brand is a good GM, because of the timing of what he has done. Because I don't want to say it's like it's forced, but it's like it's win now. Like, we don't need all of these young guys. Our 2 best players are young. We need to fill the roster with veteran guys, which is why you get the Al Horfords, which is why you make the Tobias.
Losing Landry hurt though.
I feel you, but I think that Elton Brand again has done more than a great job, because other GMs we would have questioned, why didn't you make any moves? And then we saw years ago down the stretch that they couldn't execute in high pressure situations. It wasn't all because of Brett Brown. A lot had to do with it because none of these guys have ever been there before.
Ken, I want to hear your thoughts on the Elton Brand, and how good of a job he's done. Or are you being quiet because it's Black History Month and you don't want to talk bad about a black man?
That's what it is.
I don't know. I think it's questionable, and I think is wait and see. And I think that I had questions about the Tobias Harris trade. I had questions about the Jimmy Butler trade. I felt like he gave up a lot to acquire them. And, you know, I wanted to give him some time to let it play out, and it's playing out exactly as I feared. Tobias is cool. He can play. But I fear, based on the past moves, that he is going to panic and trade one of Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. And I do not think he should do that. I think he should just let them leave unless they just start fighting. They're the two key pieces out of the process. Oh, and the other thing is I never felt he should have traded Markieff Fultz either. And look at how he's playing. And and they gave up on him way too early. Yeah, I do agree with Zaire Smith and Thabu. I do think those are good acquisitions in return. And in 3 to 5 years, they may, turn out to be what they need around Embiid and Simmons later on down the road. But for right now, I don't know.
The whole Markieff Fultz thing. And y'all know how I felt about that draft. If I was Philly, I wouldn't draft him.
You were a big fan of his, right?
Huh?
You were holding out for a while for Markieff Fultz to like.
I wasn't a big fan of his, like at all.
I thought you were one of the ones who said.
I said I would take Lonzo over him. There was a lot of people. I wasn't a Markieff believer. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, I didn't see what was gonna happen to him with his shoulder and stuff like that. But I didn't know. But the when I did become a believer of Markieff Fultz was when I saw him in Summer League. And when I said, oh well, shit, damn, I might be wrong, because the way he was moving, he looked like James Harden. He could just get anywhere. He had the Euro, you know what I'm saying? And there was just a level of pace to his game that you couldn't speed him up, And I thought in college, the reason why you saw that was primarily because he just didn't play against a lot of bigger programs. But when I saw it in Summer League, I was like, okay, maybe I was a little wrong, but I still would have liked, not necessarily for Philly, but I liked Lonzo overall over Markelle. There was other players that I liked. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine Jayson Tatum on that squad with this team.
I don't know who made that trade, but I don't think it was Elton Brand that made that deal.
No, it was
to trade to get Markelle Fultz, but that was enough.
Yeah, because they traded up because they were number 3. They were number 3 and traded up to number 1.
Yes.
Especially if you look at like exactly what they need right now.
It's Jayson Tatum.
Jayson Tatum.
That's exactly what they need right now. But
it'd be a whole nother discussion right now.
And I've never liked Philly's process anyway. I thought it was bullshit. Not more so as far as losing for draft picks, but the execution of those picks and what you do with them. It was just like you're just losing just to gather up talent, and some of that talent is even hurt right now. And where is this leading to? I just feel like we never got a roadmap to like this is where it's leading to. It's more of like we're just doing this process because we just need players.
No, I thought he had a goal.
Talking about Sam Hinkie?
Yeah, Hinkie had a goal in mind. He just didn't get a chance to execute it.
Exactly,
I read an
all the
article
way
about it. Yeah,
but they was losing for damn near a decade.
But look,
how long does it take?
Let me ask you this.
Years?
No.
It wasn't a decade.
It wasn't a decade. And let me ask you this: is both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid top 15, top 20 players?
Right now, yes.
It was worth the 5-6 bad years.
And that red shirt year helped them to get where they are too.
Because if you look at Miami,
did it?
Joel Embiid did.
I'm talking about Simmons, and he looked the same.
He should have been shooting
rookie year to now.
Yeah.
But look at a franchise like Miami, right? Pat Riley does some of the most with the least amount of talent, right? But he doesn't have 2 top 20 guys.
Yeah, because
he's a great GM.
Shit.
He's a great GM. You look at San Antonio. You look at a lot of these squads in the NBA. How many of them have 2 top 20 guys? There's a reason why Sam Hinkie believed in what he believed in, and the proof is right here. We see it. They have a championship team because of who? Because of those 2 guys. Yes. You didn't have to hit on you didn't have to hit on all 5 draft picks. You needed to hit on at least 1 or 2. Right. And they did that. And then you trade the other ones that don't necessarily fit. Now, I disagree with Sam Hinkie taking Joel Embiid, then Nerlens Noel, and then
what's his name?
Duke center.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jahlil Okafor. I disagree with taking 3 big men back to back 3 different years.
Was he responsible for Evan Turner?
Huh? No. Evan Turner's way. You talking about Andrew Bynum, Philly?
Yeah, Andrew Bynum, Evan Turner. Was AI on the team? Andrew.
I think they eventually traded him. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you talking old Philly?
That's why I was like, how long has this process really been going on? Because I remember when they drafted Evan Turner over DeMarcus Cousins and
I don't think that was Sam Hinkie.
Hell no.
Yeah, that would be fun to kind of go back and look at some of those bad draft picks that didn't work out. Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Evan Turner played ball though in college.
He did.
That 1 year, his last year.
He did. But yeah, you and I, we agree about the process, just in different phases of the process. Mm-hmm. Your post process with the picks they got and what they did with them.
Because to me, it was more about like you got all the ingredients, but you don't have the chef to cook it right.
Yeah,
the development.
I was pre-processed, and I used to argue with FIFO and Q all the time. Fuck the process. This shit is stupid. And then I saw what they got. I was like, all right, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because look, at the end of the day, right, like, there's only 2 ways that you get talent in the league. You either buy it through free agency or you draft it. And the only way that you can really get top-tier talent is to be at the top of the draft in a good draft. Right, so the timing of everything has to happen, and that doesn't always happen. So that means that you have to be bad multiple years to get top talent. You just do. You just do.
Now they about to lose it because I got a feeling.
But look, gonna trade one of them. Like real talk. Outside of Sam Hinkie saying, "Hey, we're gonna be bad for the next 3, 4 years, 5 years, but it's gonna pay off." What's the difference between that and the Atlanta Hawks? How long have they been bad?
They've learned from
They were mediocre forever.
No, they were mediocre.
That's what they were.
Like the Coach Bud years,
Coach Bud made them relevant.
Ferry years.
We're like 3 to 4 years removed from them being in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
You see that? So what is the difference between what Sam Hinkie did and what the Hawks are doing? The only difference is that the Hawks didn't announce, we're just going to be bad. They were just bad. They moved on from Jeff Teague, from Al Horford, from that Coach Bud situation. You know what I'm saying? And they got him a top 20 player, top 25 player now in Trae Young. You know what I'm saying? John Collins is not that high. But now in this draft, they could potentially go get another guy that can be
for me, it's
top
the
20.
Development. I see good development with Atlanta Hawks. I have yet to see good development with the Sixers.
So when you say that, have we not seen Joel Embiid develop from year 1 to whatever year he's in now? Has he not? Has the numbers not improved?
I'm not saying the numbers haven't improved, but as far as the style of player he is and the mindset he has, it hasn't really developed that much.
But mindset, understand that like motivation is from within. Like nobody outside of you can motivate you. They can challenge you, but they can't necessarily motivate you. And Joel Embiid, that's an internal thing he has to deal with. Just like how you said he's the best player. That comes from the inside.
Yeah.
That comes from him.
That's not the mindset I'm talking about because I know he has confidence in himself. I'm talking about situationally. Why are you shooting threes when you're the biggest guy on the court?
That's coaching.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the development part. That's why I don't like.
That's not part of the process.
Coaching isn't a part of the process?
Not a part of the process of what the Sixers were doing.
But to me, the process doesn't make sense if you don't have the development to follow it up.
No, they gotta find the right coaching personnel. I think they've allowed Brett Brown to coach because he was part of the losing process. And now that they've acquired the assets, now that their goal has been actualized, we got 2 top 15 players. Now let's go ahead and take the conclusion and finish off the process. So, but they got the talent. Now it's up to them to go ahead and just do what they need to do to make sure that it turns into a championship.
And I think Brett Brown has done a decent job in terms of developing guys from that process, from those draft classes, into something. Maybe not the full version of themselves, because, again, it takes 3 to 5. And how many players outside of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons has he had in that 3 to 5 window? Dario Saric, 1.5 years. Robert Covington, 1.5 years, maybe 2. So he hasn't had those guys in a system for that long to develop them. right? Outside of those two guys. And we just said that they're both 2 top 15 players.
I agree with that. I'm just saying, like, the fact that Ben Simmons has yet to really take a jump shot.
But
stifles him.
But again, I don't think that that's coaching, because we've heard Brett Brown say publicly what he would like Ben Simmons to do, at least take 1-3. We've seen in the summer, I was bamboozled as well. I seen Ben Simmons shoot, and I'm like, holy shit. If he could just even attempt, and I was saying this last year, it doesn't matter if you make them or not. Attempt them. Make the defense respect the attempt. That's not Brett Brown. That is all Ben Simmons. It doesn't matter what coach you have out there. If the player refuses to do something,
with that.
Some of it's Brett Brown.
And I'm not saying I'm not absolving Brett Brown. I'm not absolving him.
If Brett Brown in practice watching this Negroes shoot threes and jumpers and make them, and he ain't doing it in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we
That's
gotta
what
talk.
I'm saying. Like, why are we paying this man all this money if he ain't doing what we want him to do for the team? Yeah. Like, to me, again, these coaches get paid a lot of money. Remember, we talked about we got to start putting pressure on these executives and all this stuff, and not just the players. Like, if I'm putting you in this position and I did all this losing to see something out of it, and the nigga who came out of college is still the same motherfucker now?
No,
come on, bro.
And I feel you, and I already told you, if I was head coach, Ben Simmons had 3 wide open shots. Hey, come sit right here. I don't care what else you doing. Come sit right here, because
and that's why I don't think he's a good coach. He don't got the confidence in himself to do that.
And that's what I'm saying. It's not all okay. So let me backtrack a little bit. It's not 100% Ben Simmons, but it's 85% Ben Simmons having to take that shot. 15% of that is Brett Brown.
It's probably a little more than that though.
What, on Ben?
Yeah.
Maybe 90.
But
it's mostly Ben.
More
on Brett Brown.
Yeah, a little bit.
Either way, it's primarily overwhelmingly so
still more
on Ben Simmons.
It's still more on Ben.
He's the player.
Because he has to
shoot.
No matter what you do, he has to do it.
And these coaches ain't working with you in the offseason. They're not with you in the offseason. They're just working with you during the year. So all they can really do is manage the game. And they can't – I don't think they have the power to tell – the starter sit down like that. I don't think that's a coach's.
And what the hell we paying them for? That's what I'm saying.
No.
I don't think they do.
I'm not saying that every coach has that.
Not every coach.
Not every coach doesn't
Mark
have
Jackson
that power.
Would take his ass and be like, "Get your ass on the bench."
Not every coach has that power cachet, but there are a handful of these championship coaches or coaches that have tremendous respect,
and they don't get no questions.
Yeah, they don't get no. Popovich, you ain't shit. Go ahead, nigga. You might get traded. Ask Steven Jackson. He got a podcast now. He can let all that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Popovich wanted him to go into practice and say that Tony Parker, all of these other guys was better than him, and he said, "Hell no." What happened? Next day, you out of here. So look, man. Look, Rick Carlisle. You think you arguing with Rick Carlisle? Now, why you think Rondo was out of there? And Rondo was balling for them. Nah, bro, you out. So part of that is Brett Brown. Like I said, it is part Brett Brown, but it's primarily the player. And Ben Simmons on the inside, he knows he got to shoot, which is why we saw footage of him in the offseason making jumpers. He know that.
That was a deep fake.
It was, bro. It was. Because all he has to do, again, it's just like years ago. Remember how I was criticizing Blake Griffin? Mm-hmm. It's the attempt. Fuck making the shot. Like Giannis took a step forward when he started attempting them, because now it's like, okay, he might not make that shit. Oh damn, he made 2. Now you got to react,
man.
And he's not a shooter, but now you got to react.
That's why I proposed, like, during the draft, I was like, maybe they should give up Ben Simmons for that number 2 pick, get Ja Morant. I think Ja Morant on this squad would be fucking insane. But obviously this is fairy tale shit. But I if a guy is really that unwilling to do something that literally everybody and their mama knows you need to do, why am I wasting more time on this?
Well, I think it's interesting, because I think that if anything happens, obviously if he's hurt, I don't see him getting traded. But let's say Ben Simmons does play in these playoffs and we still see that. He could potentially get traded. I don't know for who or for what, because I think the perfect player would have been D'Angelo Russell. Obviously, they've already moved him to Minnesota. He's not going anywhere. But when you look at potentially disgruntled other point guards that can fit what Philly's trying to do, who's really left? There is nobody worth a Ben Simmons.
Jeff T.
Right? Get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So even if Philly was willing to part with Ben Simmons, who are you getting? Because now, if you part with Ben Simmons, it's all about Joel Embiid. So that means you got to get shooters. You got to get a pick and roll point guard that can shoot, that can hold their own on defense. Like, who is that guy?
Lonzo Ball, what you mean?
The Pelicans ain't giving him up. He's perfect for
Ben
what they
Simmons,
do.
they'll give his ass up.
In all honesty, if I'm David Griffin, I probably wouldn't give up Lonzo Ball. And the main reason, the difference between Ben Simmons and Lonzo shooting a damn three. Mm-hmm. And with Zion, with Jackson Hayes, with Brandon Ingram,
up the paint. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not giving up Lonzo for Ben. And plus, they don't make the same amount of money, so you can't do it anyway. Who are we giving up? So even for Embiid, who are you getting back? Like at this point,
I think Embiid is the staple. I think he's the staple. He's arguably one healthy top 5.
He should be top 2. He should be. He should be.
I won't even disagree with that. I'm just saying that's why, and I believe in him way more than I believe in Simmons. So I think he needs to stay. The only factor that you have to question about Embiid is his health. Outside of that, if he was just a healthy motherfucker, again, top 3, top 5, that's fine. So that's why I'm like,
I just don't know who's willing to give up a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying, to get Ben Simmons at this point, because obviously if I'm Portland, Portland might work because you could probably get CJ and a plethora of other guys. But then if I'm Portland, I'm like, okay, so it's Ben and Dame
and Nurkic.
Nah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't see around the league where it makes sense for Ben or for the other team getting Ben. Outside of the D'Angelo Russell when he was with Golden State. That made perfect sense. But now?
Yeah, and that's even worse now because now you're just stuck.
But again, it's on Ben. It's on Ben to just attempt the shot. Attempt the shot, bro.
It's hard to jump off that diving board, though, man.
If that's the case, then you got to get the coach out. You got to get somebody who can motivate him. And if he can't get motivated, you'll figure out a trade somehow, some way. They figured it out before. They do something else. But yeah, that's true. Any more other teams?
Zion, man.
Yeah. We don't give Zion enough love.
What we gonna talk about with Zion that we haven't already said?
Are we gonna make the playoffs or not? I said yes.
I think they can.
Hell no.
They're only 3.5 games back.
Hell no.
They're only 3.5 games back.
Hell no.
They can make it.
They can make it.
I'm not saying they are.
That's why when we look at the team, we say that shit in 3.5 games in the West is a big gap in the West.
But again, Memphis does have the hardest schedule down the road.
Yes.
And the Pelicans have the easiest down the road.
We're seeing the impact of that schedule too, because they done lost 2 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Already.
And the Pelicans are 1, 2, or 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And
the Blazers are a half game over the Pelicans, so they still got to fight.
Blazers ain't making the playoffs.
The Blazers are too inconsistent. Dame is the only consistent part of that, and he's been out for the last game or two. So I just. You know what? And I think, do the Blazers have their own first round pick? If they do, they just need to stay out the playoffs. In all honesty, for the betterment of that squad, because they need more young talent on that team. Mm-hmm. They just do. But I think the Pelicans do have the opportunity to make it, and I also think that the Pelicans would bode better getting that playoff experience than the Memphis Grizzlies would right now. And the reason why I say that, I can't see the Memphis Grizzlies beating the Lakers not even one time. Where the Pelicans, you got a motivated Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and Josh Hart. Oh, y'all traded me. Oh,
you think
we
about
here.
Storyline.
Yes, to a degree, yeah. but I'm thinking reality. Like, as a basketball player, y'all motherfuckers traded me, and I'm averaging 25 a game. What the fuck you think I'm gonna do to y'all?
Played the Lakers tough without Zion. Now that I remember.
You know what I'm saying? Brandon, all 3 of those
Lonzo went crazy.
All 3 of those ex-Lakers are going to take it a step up. We already know what Zion is. And I love LeBron. Don't know about, man, Zion.
LeBron at his age does not want to go against him.
Well, you're about to find out tomorrow. They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow?
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And we know that Zion, he's the biggest bully in the NBA. Tell me I'm wrong.
He is.
Biggest bully in the NBA.
By far.
Nobody on that Lakers
by far,
bro. He is gonna make Dwight Howard look small.
Y'all, you're disrespecting LeBron
by far.
No. And I'm not saying LeBron is not a bully, but when we're talking about like the physicality level, Zion is on a planet by himself
Zion
right
be
now.
moving people.
That's why I was. When y'all bring up Zion, I'm like, this guy's still a baby. Why are we acting like he is? like fully formed and developed, ready to.
You know what?
He's not, but he's getting 25
Look at them numbers.
breaks.
Saying, like,
Look at them numbers.
The biggest bully. This nigga ain't even 20 games
Look at the
in yet.
numbers.
You saying the biggest bully in the NBA over LeBron
But
James?
you see what he's doing to
Look
Rudy
at the
Gobert,
numbers.
what he's doing to Steven Adams, what he's doing
Rudy
to the
Gobert, man. Come on, what are we talking about?
the two-time defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
That's what
one
we're
of the
talking
best
about.
Over
defenders.
LeBron?
One of the best defenders
Over
in the
LeBron?
league.
I'm asking you over LeBron.
Rudy Gobert is one of the
I'm
best
asking you
big
over
men.
LeBron
But what are you
James.
asking over LeBron?
You're saying he's the biggest bully over LeBron James. We're
Yes.
not 20 games in.
Physically in the NBA,
You're
Zion
crazy.
Williamson is the
Yes.
biggest bully in the NBA.
We saying
crazy.
bully, not necessarily. Well, LeBron is a bully too, but Zion does it night in, night out. Right now, this is what he does
It ain't been 20 games.
Doesn't matter.
for these whole 20 games.
Doesn't matter.
All right.
Don't nobody look.
Look.
Go ahead, go ahead.
I need to
The
find
top
that.
3 bullies in the NBA to me: Giannis, Bron, and Zion. And
You
not
put
in that
Zion
order.
over Giannis.
Yes, as a bully.
Even though Giannis
As
really
a bully.
smacked his shit out the to the
as a
second
bully,
row when they won
as
against.
a bully,
Come on, bro.
as a
Giannis,
bully.
LeBron, if y'all listen to this podcast, we apologize. The views of
I said
P4
as a
and
bully.
Shelton do not
I didn't
reflect-
say Zion is better than these guys.
No, I
That's
didn't say he's
not-
better. No,
not
I
better.
never said he's better. I said
I,
he's
bully.
a bully.
I hear your words
Physicality.
clearly, and I disagree with them.
That's cool.
I think if anybody in the league said if you had to pick between Giannis, LeBron, and Zion to go against,
74%
Zion is the last one that
from the
you
field
bring
for
up
2.
When they
What? Say that one more time.
74% from the field from 2.
okay, all he does is dunks and layups. What does that mean?
Because he's a bully.
But you just
Thank
said
you.
you literally started the show talking about how Giannis, when he's in his position, playing his role
20.8
in those certain spots, he is
plus
damn near
minus.
unguardable, unbeatable, and all that shit. But then you're telling me
because of
Zion.
length. But because Giannis is damn near 7 feet and is longer than every other person.
But that's who he is, so we can't
No,
use that as a
no,
caveat.
no.
We're talking
And I
about
get
bullies
that.
now. We're just talking
No,
about bullies.
I get that. And Zion is a bigger bully than everybody else in the NBA.
He's the fattest bully, if you want to say.
So was Zebo
He
at
ain't
one
the
point in
biggest
time.
one.
And so was Zebo.
So you'll pick if you had to have somebody to bully somebody, you pick a Zion over LeBron
100%.
and Giannis.
100%. 100%. Don't nobody in the league have a faster second jump? Don't nobody in the league have more girth or mass than Zion?
A guy who we're talking about who barely can even get into the playoffs. You're saying he's the biggest bully in the NBA.
The man is. You just said he only played 20 games, and if he played the entire
so then why are
season,
you? I'm bringing that up because he's not there yet.
He's the
not
biggest
there.
bully.
So
He's
why
the
are you saying he's the
biggest
biggest?
bully.
He's a bully right now.
He's the biggest bully in the NBA.
Don't
Biggest
nobody
bully
want
gonna
him.
be- all right.
He bullying
Don't nobody
everybody.
want him right now.
We'll see tomorrow. We'll see if LeBron
And
wants some of that
Ross-
smoke.
I can't wait.
We'll see if
Nobody
LeBron wants
want
some of
him.
Y'all want to come in here and watch the game?
I need to see
The
this.
only thing I would give you is that LeBron doesn't want to go up against that young kid at the age he's at. He's
LeBron,
trying to save his energy.
No, LeBron gonna put him in his place tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, we'll see. I ain't gonna
We
go
are
that far.
gonna
I'll
see.
just say that he's the biggest bully.
This what I will say about Zion is that he has become the alpha on that team,
Oh, 100%.
just like that. That is amazing to me, considering all that Bi did to become the man. And Zion just stepped on the court, and all of a sudden he just number 2.
But you
Yeah, I
know
realize
what
that's
though?
why he got traded.
But you know what though? You know the
crazy.
beautiful thing is that, but it doesn't diminish what Bi does.
It doesn't.
and that's the special thing about
It
Zion.
doesn't diminish, but he doesn't get spotlighted. For it.
right.
Well, because
Because he be dropping like 30 and something.
Of course,
nobody
because-
talk about shit. They be
Nobody
like,
gave
Zion
it
with
that.
his
Of course,
15 points, and
because
he's
Zion-
the biggest bully in the NBA.
Because
Like,
Zion is box office. Zion is box office, and Zion is
is.
one of those very rare superstars where he don't need the ball. Like you don't have to run plays for him. He's just gonna get 20 because he's a bully. He's gonna get rebounds. He's gonna make passes. Everybody wants to play with him and for him. People want to see the highlight. You know what I'm saying? So people are gonna throw lobs where they might just force a layup. Oh shit! Where he throw that shit up? Let it go get it. Like that's the gravitas of what Zion is, and that's why he has that potential. Remember we were talking about potential young players
shot chart is a piece of shit.
Bully.
bully.
No, I'm just saying that shot chart is a piece
Yeah, I
of
already
shit.
know.
Bully.
That says nothing to me.
Why?
It says bully.
You know what?
It says
You know
nothing
what?
to me.
No.
It does not say he's a bully.
No,
That
it
says
100% says he's a bully. You know why? Because you know who shot chart looks like that? Ben Simmons. And you know what? Ben Simmons don't shoot no 77% from the field.
Was Ben Simmons a bully?
Nope.
So then how does that shot chart explain how he's a bully if that doesn't explain how he's
It's
a
a
bully?
lot
because-
more green than being in here.
Exactly. And Ben is softer than Zion. Who the hell Ben be moving out the way like that? Give me this. Y'all too small out
Give
here.
it. Give me. Yeah.
Ben doesn't play to his 6'10" frame a lot of the times.
But I'm saying you use the shot chart to explain why he's a bully, but yet that same chart that's similar to Ben Simmons explains why he's not a bully.
Because Ben Simmons, first of all, doesn't shoot the same percentage, and the shot chart looks similar, but he doesn't shoot the same percentage from 2. He doesn't. Also, who rebounds more? Who has a higher rebound rate? Who scores more points?
You realize you're talking about a less than 20 game sample when you're comparing
it doesn't. I've been talking about Zion since high school,
I understand it,
bro.
but we're in the NBA now. I'm just saying.
And
less than 20
and all I
game
needed was
sample,
5 games to let you know.
You're already saying that.
But we hadn't gotten that one bad game yet.
I mean, he's had
Not
a bad
yet.
game.
Alright.
He's had a bad game.
Which one?
He's had a less
The
than
one
product-
against
he has a
Giannis?
less than
Giannis, he
product-
got his ass. He got his ass on the ground literally because
Well,
of Giannis.
How many points?
Zion did snatch the ball out of Giannis.
He did,
He
but then he
bullied
got his
him.
ass on the ground.
Wasn't that a bully move
They
though?
bullied each other.
Yeah.
But how many years is Giannis in the league? How many years Giannis been in the league though?
Even
And he been in 20 games, and he bullying a nigga that been in the game over 7 years. Come on, man. Come on.
He bullied a bully.
even Giannis was like, "What the hell just happened?"
Come on, man.
Tomorrow night we getting good games. We got Milwaukee versus Toronto. And we ended on the nightcap with the Pelicans versus the Lakers.
Yeah, that's
we
some
gonna
good
see
games.
We gonna see.
Yeah.
That's gonna show you.
I
a
just
lot.
want to see if he could do it against LeBron. That's all.
Right.
That's all. That's it. Before I give him the biggest, the
Biggest
biggest bully
bully.
in the NBA. You got to earn it, man. You got to take that crown, bro.
Hey, look, all I know.
waiting for high school to say that.
All I know, hey, wasn't it in summer league where we saw, and he only played like 1 game, where the dude
small
got
sample
the
size.
rebound, and he just took
He
it
took
from him
it.
and dunked it. Did we not just see that last
just
night?
did it the other day.
He just
Yeah.
did. Come on, man.
He
Look,
the
man,
truth. He the truth.
No
But
one's saying he's
biggest
not intimidating,
bully.
but you're
in the
giving him
NBA?
the apex
Yes.
title.
Yes.
Less
Yes.
than 20 game
Yes.
sample
Yes.
size.
Not
Yes.
the greatest player. The
No,
biggest
We never
bully.
said that. I said bully.
I
Bully.
understand exactly what y'all are saying.
I'm like, ain't nobody
There's
taking
no
that from him.
confusion here.
Okay. Right.
I just.
You know what? Look, Nick. Let's be honest. Sometimes you don't need to see an entire season to know what somebody is. When Dame came
When
out,
have we ever said that?
I don't know about you,
I'm just,
but I
I'm
know
just
I
asking,
have.
what was the last player you said?
Dame. Was I not very early on Dame?
The last one I saw was LeBron game 1.
Oh, that was shit. Of course. Yeah.
LeBron for sure.
Yeah. But even Dame, like Dame, very early on, I didn't need a whole season to be like, oh shit, that little dude right there, he a problem.
But what's crazy?
I saw it in summer
We're not
league.
saying he's
What's crazy is we
it's
got
the
Ja
biggest
doing it too,
bully.
though.
Huh?
Ja too. Like we.
Yeah, I didn't need the whole year
Yeah,
to know
no,
Ja was.
Ja, you're right.
No,
You're
but
right.
when
You're
I'm
right.
talking about for the title you're giving him, and he hasn't finished the whole
for the
season
title.
yet. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
I ain't talking about
you
if
know
he
why?
look good. Of course he looks great.
Because he's already played against some of the bigger bullies that we would consider bullies in the NBA. Steven Adams is considered one of the biggest bullies in the NBA. Am I right or am I wrong?
I wouldn't give him that, but go
I
ahead.
would. Steven Adams.
Why he get
Yes.
paid?
That's the only
Got
reason
paid
he's
'cause
there.
He's a defender. He's a great defender.
He's a bully.
He's a bully.
He's a
He's one of the
bully.
best
He's an
rebounding
enforcer.
bigs.
Yeah, he's an enforcer. That's what he's
so
there
is
for.
Hassan Whiteside, but he ain't a bully.
No. Hassan White ain't no bully. Man.
But he get big. You just talked about how he gets good rebounds and blocks and all that shit.
Because he's
That's what I'm saying. What are we
7'1".
talking about
Because
here?
he's 7'1". He don't move people out the way.
I didn't see that.
He
I
gets
didn't see the.
noisy.
Why are you talking about his height? We're talking about the player. The player is the player.
But
Zion isn't tall,
But
so you ain't
look,
bringing
no,
up his height.
but there's some people that just get rebounds because they're tall as hell, bruh. Hassan is one of those guys. He plays to the side because he's tall as hell.
So that's a detriment to him then.
No, I'm not saying it's a detriment. I'm just saying you got to use.
He's saying that's what he should do.
Exactly.
That's what he's out there for.
But he's not a bully. Who the hell out here is scared of Hassan Whiteside? People try Hassan Whiteside all the time.
yeah.
There's a difference between
They ain't
being
trying
a big
Zion.
guy.
I'm just saying,
Exactly.
Earlier you talked about Hassan Whiteside. When I gave him shit, you was like, nah, you got to give him respect.
I guarantee
And
you
I
they-
give him
I guarantee
respect,
you-
now.
but I'm not saying that he's a bully though. Respect doesn't mean I give him bully
I
status.
Adams as a bully.
I
don't-
guarantee
I haven't
you.
seen anybody. I haven't seen people
I
say,
guarantee
like,
you
oh, I'm
that
scared
his
of
name
Steven
is
Adams.
circled more than anybody else in the league right now.
Who?
Zion. That's who.
Circle
That's
for
who I
what?
got to play. When they see that New Orleans come up on the schedule, if you're a 4, you scared of him more than anybody else at your position. Ain't nobody else at that position that you're afraid of more than Zion right now. Anybody? Name one that you as a player like. Imagine you
Laurie Markkinen.
Okay, yeah. That's about it though. That's
No, but when Ken does that shit, it's because he knows he doesn't have another answer. Name it.
We're gonna wait and see tomorrow.
Okay. How many times I've been right versus you, Nick? All right then. All right then.
Hey,
when I
called out DeMarcus Cousins and I said Ibaka was gonna have a better game in the finals, y'all, in the finals. I was right there. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Y'all was all against me too. I was on the island by myself.
That's cool.
Well, we'll see.
All right.
That's all I got for NBA. I only got one NFL question.
No, you said you had the Kobe show.
Oh yeah. Kobe had his memorial today.
That was tough.
I saw MJ's speech. Did y'all see MJ's speech?
Yep.
I still ain't watched it. Yeah, I gotta watch it.
It's a short speech, but it had a lot in it. Obviously it's a sad memorial. Damn near everybody in the NBA was there, even old and young. But MJ, when he got on stage, everybody was just like, this is the guy I guess people have been waiting to hear what he had to say about the whole situation. And I'm not familiar with a lot of MJ quotes or even like speeches and stuff because I was very young at the time he was like really popping. But to see him talk the way he did today, it was powerful. He was able to lighten the mood a little bit too with some jokes. It felt almost like his Hall of Fame speech. Like it was just like it was captivating, it was humorous, but it was also very serious as far as like his passion for the game, and he passed that on as far as like his brotherhood for Kobe. So I thought it was if you haven't seen it, just make sure you go watch it. But yeah, I thought the whole memorial was just it was like you could tell they tried to make it a celebration of Kobe's life, but I feel like people are still like, damn, he's gone.
Yeah, and because my wife watched, I didn't want to watch it, and I didn't. I listened to it. She was watching it over here, and I didn't want to see it because. Just the emotions, but like I think the person that hit me the most was Vanessa.
Oh yeah,
she started talking. I was like, oh
she's
my
the
God.
strongest. I don't know how she's doing it.
I don't know how she.
And then what she was saying about like God knew that you and Gigi had to go out together because like y'all. It was just like, man, come on, like that was like that's a powerful woman. Like,
and like Michael Jordan, because in his Hall of Fame speech, it was very, at least what I took from it was very selfish, like why I got here and everybody that motivated me to be great and stuff like that. This was very selfless.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying, and that was cool to see because oftentimes when we think of Kobe and we think of MJ, we think about selfish guys that just drive themselves mad to just be greater. Right. And, like this Mike doesn't always show very many vulnerabilities, and this was very vulnerable.
He was crying the whole time.
Yeah, he was. But the one person that I did enjoy, and I'm not saying I didn't enjoy nobody else. You know what I'm saying? I enjoyed, but it was very emotional. But the person that lightened up the mood the most was Shaq.
Oh yeah.
Especially when he had that story when he said somebody came up to him and said, "Yo, man, Kobe's not passing the ball." He said, "All right, let me go talk to him." And you know how Shaq talk. Let me go talk to him. He said, "Hey, Kobe, there's no I in team." He said, "Shit, there's a me in that motherfucker." Everybody busts out laughing, and that's just so Kobe. And he went back to the team. He's like, "Yeah, he's not gonna pass the ball." So for Shaq to come back and be like, "Yeah, man, I can't even," you know what I'm saying? So, but nah, man, it's still so surreal. Even when Diana Taurasi spoke, and I can't remember the other college.
Therefore, nigga who ain't watching, you know a lot about it.
Because I heard it. I said I heard the whole thing. I couldn't physically see it because that would have broke me down. But like how I can't remember her name. But
from Oregon.
From Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah, and when she was saying that, I still text them and, I still expect like a response on coming back, even though I know it's not coming. Like that is kind of, I feel like how everybody feels like, because think about it, at least for us on this panel, we never had like real life interactions with Kobe, but we knew Kobe was always there. And it kind of still feels that way.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's like, man, like he's really not.
Because speaking of that story, that reminds me of what Chris Rock was talking about when Bernie Mac died. He was like, I still have his number in my phone, and because I feel like he's going, it just feels like he's not gone yet, and he can still hit me up or whatever. It's just like, obviously, again, like you said, we're not that close, but the impact he had, like just watching him grow up, like that's something that you could just gravitate towards, and just to see, it's just more about. I think most people are saying like, bro, he has so much more to give.
Yeah,
so much more to say.
I was excited to see.
He was just getting started with that, and now it's just like all we have is memories now.
Yeah,
and they're great memories, but it's still like he left too early. He just literally left too early.
It just doesn't feel right. It still has not hit right that Kobe's not here. I don't know about y'all.
And I don't think it ever will.
Yeah, it's hard to fathom. That was Superman.
Yeah, I wanted no parts of the memorial. I didn't watch it. I did see. I haven't even watched Michael Jordan's thing, but I did see what people were saying, and I just heard what you guys said. I think the one takeaway I do have from what I saw online was how aware Jordan is of just him and pop culture with the crime meme. And the joke he said, about, damn, I'm going to be up here and be another meme out there. Mm-hmm. I thought that was dope because sometimes you think these guys are insulated from real-world events. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for him to say that. And Jordan is sensitive about his brand. And for him to not have that taken down, and I can't remember if he tried to have it taken down or not. I don't think so. But for him to let that ride says a lot. And it reminds me of what Doug Gottlieb said about Kobe, and Doug Gottlieb tweeted about Kobe and seeing him walking around security, but also seeing Kobe and NBA players talk about, about cops and their interaction with black people, and he thought that was a little hypocritical. And he posted a tweet, and Kobe was like, man, and they went out to dinner, and Kobe was like, man, I don't care about that shit. He said, if I cared about what was on Twitter, you and I would be sitting right now having dinner. And it shows that they kind of share that same mindset. Like, Jordan knows out there, but he don't care about it like that, So, but yeah, I'll post the message. I don't know how long it was. Maybe I'll try to put it in here so people can hear it, this episode. But yeah, I think I'm good. I'm not reading any more articles. I didn't even listen to First Take. I only listened to them talk about basketball, but when Ice Cube and all those other persons came on, I was like, nah, it's tough, man. I don't want to even hear it anymore. Yeah. I'm Kobe'd out. You know who else had a really good speech too? I didn't know kind of the angle he was going to go, but, when it was all said and done, I think it was one of the more powerful speeches as well, was Gino Auriemma, UConn head coach. Because he was like, y'all want me to come up here and talk basketball, but he's like, I can't do that, And if y'all haven't watched it, go find it. I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. But Gino's speech it hit home too. It hit home too.
Yeah. So I just again, R.I.P. Kobe and Gigi and all the people we lost in that tragic accident. It's still it's gonna be on all of our minds for years to come. But yeah, that's all I have for NBA. The only one NFL question I had was more about, obviously, selfishly, Joe Burrow. And will he actually pull the Eli Manning, John Elway, and, not just go to the Bengals? Do you think, just basically?
I don't think he will.
And do you think if he doesn't, is that smart?
I don't think he's going to do that. I saw today where they said he had, 9-inch hands, his hands are small.
Yeah.
So I think the questions are going to start coming up about him, so I think he's going to take what he can get and just run. I don't think he's going to.
Because that's like $30 million that he's
talking about. I don't think he's going to mess with that.
Yeah, I'm with Shelton because here's the thing. It's not like Joe Burrow, he was highly touted. It's not like he had an illustrious collegiate career. He popped in his last year.
Same with Jamarcus Russell.
So people are going to question him, especially the hands thing. That's big for quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Patty Mahomes sent out a tweet saying, I had small hands too. I think you good.
Yeah, but don't nobody have that arm, though.
But we didn't know it at the time.
Right.
Well,
just like we don't know this time.
100%. And I've gone back and watched Texas Tech highlights, and he was making throws. It's just he didn't necessarily have the offensive system, even though he played in an air raid system, and he didn't necessarily have the weapons that he has in Kansas City. But some of those throws that he makes now, he was making back then. You saw the cannon. It just wasn't that consistent. You didn't see it like that. Right. But Joe Burrow, to me, just talent. You can see arm talent, and it pops off the screen. Joe Burrow doesn't have tremendous arm talent. He's good. I'm not, and that's no disrespect to Joe Burrow, but he just isn't elite. Right. And if people are saying that you are the number one pick, he don't have the Manning name behind him to be like, nah, bruh, we good. He can't misstep, because if he pulls that move and he goes to another situation and he's a nobody, he's gonna be out the league quicker than if he would have just went to the Bengals, rode it out,
took his money.
You know what I'm saying? Potentially go to another team down the road and make money again, like Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what I'm saying? His trajectory is a lot different. And I just think that he needs to take the money where he can get it.
Right. 2 years ago, he wouldn't even thought to be in the position to be able to make this decision.
So NFL GMs came out, and
Yeah.
this was on the Hurt that I was listening to. Colin Cowherd, he was saying like, the NFL GM said like, bro, just a couple years ago, you would have been a third-round pick.
Right. So you take that money and your blessings that come with it, because they're about to break them down, and they're going to pull all the stuff out.
This brings up a question for me as far as the youth now moving forward and their expectations of being in a winning culture, winning situation. I brought it up when we were talking about Trae Young as far as his somewhat demands now with the Atlanta Hawks, with their losing. And then obviously the Bengals are one of the worst franchises in NFL history just based off of winning. That'll last,
except when Marvin Lewis was there.
Except for Marvin Lewis, but I'm just saying, just holistically over the last 40 years, it's mostly losing. The cojones you gotta have to be like, oh, y'all shitty, I ain't trying to be with y'all, I'm gonna try to go somewhere else. As a nobody, you're not even a rookie because you're not even drafted yet, and it's just like I already know y'all. Like, what happened to like, I'm gonna help this franchise, like. Now, if players are now going to decide where they go to based off, I want to be in a situation that wins, what happened? What's up with these small market teams? What's up with these losing franchises that are looking for these picks to save them? Like, you wouldn't have a process with Philly if Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons says, I'm cool on y'all.
It's funny. Imagine what Indy would be if Peyton Manning did the same thing, to be able to come in and take on that challenge and believe in who you are as a talent, that you will change that franchise. I think the thing that concerns me about Joe Burrow, as we start to hear more and more about who he is and his arrogance, his cockiness that he has, it could lead him to do something like that. Because I think it was on Bleacher Report, that when Alabama offered him a third-string quarterback position, he told them, he said, "You must don't know about me yet." He told Nick Saban that. Now, he proved to be right.
Yes.
Yeah, he backed it up.
So what happens when you're okay with losing that money on the front end, knowing that if you go out and ball, you can get that on the back end? That's something he's going to make. But I don't think he'll be stupid enough to make that. I think, or like to believe that he will be confident enough that he can be the guy to come to Cincinnati and do what no other quarterback has done outside of the ones that went to the Super Bowl.
And here's the thing, too, like, you're talking about these young cats coming into the league, whether it's NFL, NBA, or whatever, and start making demands. First and foremost, there's a process in everything that you do. And the first process is you got to ball. You got to show that you're valuable enough for us to move heaven and earth to get the things that you feel that you need to win, right? Like when you look at Russell Wilson, right? And obviously that whole Seattle, Pete Carroll and that GM, I can't remember the GM's name, like they already knew what the hell they were doing. You know what I'm saying? But Russell Wilson had to prove that he can win. Trae Young had to prove I can ball. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people had to prove at least that they are worthy of moving that heaven and earth. Joe Burrow is going to have to come into the Bengals, wherever the hell he decides, if he doesn't want to go there or whatever, but he's going to have to prove I can play. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's his name from Philly? Carson Wentz. You know what I'm saying? You look at down the stretch, right? And I know you've had hella questions about Carson Wentz, but to me, every question was answered when all of his wide receivers were gone. They were trying to make a playoff push. They was under 500, and they caught Dallas. And they beat Dallas when he ain't had nobody. And he still completed almost 70% of his throws in that game. And especially down the stretch when he didn't have nobody. Like there are many playoffs to get to the playoffs. Like when you do stuff like that, and Carson Wentz is still young. He's only, 4 years in, 3 years in, something like that. When you're young and you can do stuff like that, well, shit. We got to listen to you. We got to do whatever you want.
And that's my thing, too. It's just more of like, who are you to think that you better than the NFL or an NFL franchise? You know what I'm saying? As a nobody. You know, like who right. Like, again, like Ken said, like the Bengals haven't been shitty for like
forever. Yeah, they haven't been
like I think I forgot who had this stat. I think it probably been Cowherd or Marcellus Wiley. He was like the last 6 teams who've been consistently been in the playoffs over the last decade. The Bengals are one of those 6.
Yeah,
like they have a winning record over the last decade, like for the most part. So
they just didn't win a playoff game.
They just didn't win a playoff game. Yeah. But as far as like if you're trying to just get to the dance, most people don't get to the dance. Like again, who are you to say that I'm better than this situation? Like you're gonna go somewhere else and it's gonna be roses and shit.
So you know what I'm hearing? Sound like he ready to get to it now.
Hey,
That's what
I
it
don't know
is.
why I chose the white man over the black man, but hey, my thing is at this point, you should be humble enough to be like, I'm the number 1 pick in the whole fucking draft. Like, that says a lot. If you're willing to turn that down, that says a lot about you. And 2, if he says that and the Bengals know he's not real, then we could make, if anything, just trading that pick to Miami to get their picks and then future picks. We can draft Tua, have him sit behind Andy. If Andy want to leave, he can go somewhere else. We're going to have a vet to come in and do something. I know Teddy probably wants a starting job. Somebody's going to want a starting job. There's only 32 starting jobs in the league. Somebody's going to take that job. He could sit, Tua could sit, or whatever. We can just fill out the rest of the roster because we do need more than a quarterback, to be honest.
Yeah.
So at this point, if he's not really – and he's an Ohio kid too, but, you know, Ohio doesn't have much to say about sports as far as winning outside of, you know, the Cavs. But – again, you would think that it wouldn't be this hard for him to buy in, but if it's that hard for you to buy in, bro, shit, fuck it. I'm cool.
I'm mad with the Dolphins kind of saying that they want Justin Herbert over Tua.
I can't believe that.
I think
That's got to be a smoke screen.
It's the injury.
That's
thing.
a smoke screen, man.
But even still, like, we know, like, look, just give Tua that year.
Well, they always say GMs got to leave the door open a little bit because they care about picks more than they care about just one player.
That's got to be a smoke screen though, because there's no way I would want Justin Herbert over Tua, even with health concerns. It just doesn't make sense. This dude is so inconsistent.
But the reason why I do believe it is because the Dolphins are that bad. Like, think about it. Since Dan Marino and the Ricky Williams trade, what the hell have we done?
I feel like Flores is gonna turn that thing around. I just got that feeling.
And I like Flores, but turning around, that's a lot. That's a lot to say. But that's why I like what. Even though the Bengals are stubborn as far as Mike Brown, if he says he's going to draft somebody or whatever, he's going to stick to it. He ain't going to move. He ain't going to budge. There's no smoke screen with that motherfucker. He don't trade picks. But obviously there's a negative side to that. But like, just to hear like Miami come out and say, oh, our options are open and all that stuff, like, man.
How do y'all feel about the Lions? I wish we was here. The Lions saying that they might move up for Tua.
I think it's about time. They need to start looking to replace Stafford. I think Stafford's on.
Well, I just think they need a rebuild in general.
They do.
I don't think Stafford is somebody you just want to willingly give up, but he has to be off the board for you to probably get more pieces or for you to do something else, just to put new energy in it. You've tried Stafford over a decade now.
Yeah, but they can't do anything. I think they locked into that contract. So
they're talking about trading him to Dallas.
oh, Jesus Christ. What a marriage.
What about who's the guy from Utah? Something Love, Justin Love.
Yeah, I heard about him. Yeah, he's moving up the board.
But so I saw this on Colin where he was talking about kind of the similarities of when Aaron Rodgers was drafted, right? So when they brought in Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre was 35. Brett Favre's numbers weren't horrible, but they were on a decline. You look at Aaron Rodgers, his completion percentage and also his passer rating was the second lowest of his career this year. Yeah, they won 13 games. Yeah, they made a playoff. So did Brett Favre when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers landed at 25. They're talking about this dude Justin Love might land there as well. He just said that there was a lot of similarities. And also what the GM said was, you know, if we have the right quarterback at our draft position, we're going to take a quarterback. So basically what he's saying is if this is the guy and he's there, we're going to take him. So how do y'all feel about potentially Green Bay taking another quarterback and drafting the Aaron Rodgers replacement?
I feel fine with it. Yeah. I mean, that's Aaron. I don't see how. I mean, Aaron can be mad, but I mean, he's been compensated for his time. They haven't given him everything, but lately they have been, and that's literally how he got his job. So it's just like,
yeah.
You know how they always say, like, if you cheat on me, like
you're gonna lose them how you got them.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna lose them how you got them.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah,
this is football. It's a business at the end of the day.
I got you. So let's just say like a year or two from now, where do you think Aaron Rodgers could potentially go?
Dallas,
Chicago.
So you think he's gonna be like Brett Favre and stay in division?
I think it would make the most sense. I think Green Bay would try to send him out somewhere else,
just like
Brett Favre
with the Jets,
and
then he'll come back.
Like if Khalil, like to me, it depends on how long Khalil Mack stays in Chicago. I don't know how. I think he's year 3 in his contract coming.
They're
up.
trying to get rid of him.
Probably because of the quarterback they got.
Yeah.
But like Aaron Rodgers, Chicago with that defense.
You talking Super Bowl? You're talking Super Bowl. And even and you know how much I love what is it, Matt Nagy?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go to. I was like, Matt Nagy and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's
if Aaron Rodgers is going to the damn near no, he was in the NFC Championship with Matt LaFleur, whatever the nickname is. Matt Nagy, man, come on.
Yeah,
San Fran, that's where he'll be.
Because he's a Cali guy?
Yeah. Yeah, he grew up idolizing.
That's a good one.
The Chargers.
I thought the Chargers,
they talk about
too.
sending the Chargers to London because ain't nobody going to their games. I did not realize it was that bad for
That's
the
what
Chargers,
I was trying to tell y'all.
It's like an XFL game.
They're actively trying to figure out what to do for this franchise because they can't figure it out.
They got to get Tom Brady.
They're going to get one of them quarterbacks.
But that's only 2 years.
But
it doesn't matter.
But that's enough to, like, hone them in,
Yeah.
and then you draft another quarterback, and then you start the process.
You just need them to come. You just need them to get there.
Yeah, you just need you need a draw because already the people are going to the Rams because the Rams are already sexier. The head coach, the Rams
they were just in the Super Bowl last year.
They were
2 years ago.
Exactly. And then you got the Lakers and the Clippers. Like you just have so much happening in LA. The beach, the Dodgers, like it's just a lot. So like you're vying for people's attention. Tom Brady almost usurps all of that except for maybe the basketball players, except for the basketball teams.
Yes.
But they look, just for the betterment of that franchise, they have to get Tom Brady.
Yes.
They have to. Whatever they can if you have to use your entire salary cap room for him, you got to do it.
It's
bigger than football for
that's
for
market.
Chargers.
I would say that's just the marketing pay, but then like you gonna give Tom Brady all that shit, but Dak Prescott can't get paid. Oh my God.
Dak ain't Tom, bro.
I know he ain't, but right now he ain't
still
worth
not.
what Tom is asking for.
I get that. I 100% get that because y'all already know I've been on here saying like a couple of weeks ago I wouldn't pay no Tom Brady no damn $30 million. You out your damn mind. But for the Chargers, that's chump change.
Yeah, it's worth
them
it.
Ticket sales, bro.
It's
You need
worth
people
it.
to come to
and
the
to see
game.
him and Patty go against twice a year.
Of course, that's worth it enough.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that's all I got, man. What they saying in the chat.
Oh, I was just going through it. Darryl Brown was like, Nick, I ain't forget when the Knicks didn't get the number 1 pick and you changed tune on Zion saying he's just a dunker trying to hype for
You see how I come back? You see how I come back, Nick?
Hey, my loyalty is to my organizations, all right? if you ain't with me, you run from me, motherfucker.
Yeah, somebody called me a clown. I forgot what I even said, but who knows? Anyway, man, we appreciate you guys for listening and tuning in, man. It means a lot. As you can see, we're trying something new. I actually saw this on Black Korea, their video, and I saw it. I hit up FIFA. I was like, all right, man, yeah, I'm obsessed with trying to get it cleaned up. I just told him that last week, and look at us now. Yep. So shout out to Modest Media for helping with the layout to give us our own signature look. And that's it, man. So we're gonna keep this thing going. You guys keep it going. Tell everybody we start trends here. We start a lot of the shit here before it hit mainstream media. We're small, but I think we're powerful and we make an impact. And and that's it. So
Ice Trae the game.
we'll catch y'all next time. We out. Peace.
All right.
Peace.
People are fucking disrespecting that man, bro.
Yeah, they are.
Well, why is he a starter in the All-Star game? Because that motherfucker scored 50. The hell wrong with y'all? That dude, man.
No.
I was slow to him too, but shit, when you start being that consistent, consistency is
A lot of people was.
I was
But that's
so
cool.
I thought it would take him a little longer. I thought he would get there. I just thought it would take longer.
I didn't.
Well, I was more afraid he was gonna be like Buddy Hield, how he started out.
Nah, I wasn't worried about that. Because he's a true point guard, bro.
I thought it would take another year at least, though.
Yeah, I know he was a